That's a buff.
Okay.
You ready? Yep. Okay, it is 4:30. We'll call the meeting to order. For public information, a copy of the Nebraska Opens Meeting Act, listen carefully, is available at the clerk's desk. We normally have a copy back on the back wall, but it's been updated recently.
It is no longer required either, so this is gonna be where it is.
Okay, so, yeah, and it's a 5-page document. But Kelly plans to have one at this desk at each meeting, so just want everyone to be aware of that. We'll have roll call.
Harris,
Here.
Reisig,
Here.
Meyer, Blue,
Here.
Parsley.
Here.
All right, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, few announcements that I like to give. I want to remind all that this meeting is being recorded. It's recorded to be broadcast at a later date. With that, we want everyone to remember that if you want to speak, once you're recognized, be sure and come forward. You're going to need to come forward to the microphone, and be sure that you state your name for the record and spell your name, which assists the county clerk in getting her minutes correct. Again, remember, there's no swearing or any other inappropriate language. We all need to check our cell phones. Be sure they're turned to silent or off. We want to be sure and respect those around us, and hope they're not going off. I want to remind the commissioners also to try and speak into your microphones so that we can be heard as well on the recording. And so that also we sometimes have people in the back that can't hear what we're saying. And so if we can speak up into the microphones, that would be helpful. You know, I don't know exactly how long we're going to end up this evening. If it gets to where we're an hour and a half into this or so, I normally call a 8-minute recess to take a short break. And if we need to do that, we will. But if we don't think we have to, we might not. I don't really. We have numerous items on the agenda tonight, but some of them are going to go fairly quickly, and some may take a little extra time, so I really don't know how long our meeting will last. Okay. The next item is to approve the agenda and consider any modifications. Heather?
I have another veteran vehicle exemption request that I would ask that you guys consider. It's for Don Roth.
Okay.
And can I add it after my first one?
That's where I'm writing it, I guess. Are you seeing any concern with that, Jason?
You know, you've got the issue on the agenda, so I think you could amend to add, you're gonna take that other name up since that issue is on
No, I
there.
have two. I have one for Renee Nava and then one for Don Roth.
Right.
So,
So it would either be, put it on the next agenda, or since there is an agenda item, we're just amending that.
Okay.
thank you.
Does anyone have any problem with adding it?
No.
Okay, so that's what we'll plan on doing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I move to approve the
Whoa,
agenda.
whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa.
Yeah, I know we got a couple other changes. Do you have one, Kelly?
I want to, from the receiving of inventories, strike the one for county clerk and election. I put it on the agenda, but I did not include it in your packet, so we'll
Okay.
do that on August 3rd.
So that's the second item under general agenda items.
You pulled down?
Over to the far right hand, just the part that says county clerk
County clerk
and
only, and election, yeah.
The rest of them are included. Okay, we would take those off.
County clerk, county election, clerk and election.
County
goes
clerk
away.
and election, those Kelly's. Are there any others?
I have one,
Okay.
Mr. Harris. So we currently have 4 parcels for consideration for approval of a late homestead. And I'd like to amend that and add a 5th one that just came in late on Friday.
I need you to know you got another one today while you're adding them.
Okay, do you have it?
Yeah. I brought
Okay.
it in case.
I would like to add 2
Since I
then.
asked to wait until the third on this one, I thought I'd just bring this one to add.
Yeah,
I see.
Well,
So I've got the other parcel number for you,
okay.
and I'm
Okay.
ready for you to read that one.
Okay, the first one to add is 010-067-469.
But it's
okay,
not
and the
printed
one
out
that you
on
have, Kelly?
Well, do you need to see it, or do you need to see it real fast? or-
Yeah, just
And then you can
briefly.
read parcel number for me,
Yeah.
Bess?
Yep,
Okay.
This one just barely got brought over before I came upstairs.
no problem. Yeah, this would be a valid request. The parcel number on this one is,
Clear in the top right corner of the
got
front
it,
page.
thank you, I
Uh-huh.
wrote it up there. 010-146-180.
Okay. So we have several changes on the agenda. These would include a veteran vehicle, request, 2 homestead application requests, and taking off the inventory report from the county clerk and election office.
I'd move for approval of the agenda with the changes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as, changed by the, ones that I read off. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses.
All right, motion's carried. The next item that we always like to read is the board reserves the right to enter into a closed session if deemed necessary. We do not have any, executive sessions scheduled tonight, but we always wanna reserve the right to, go into executive session if need be. Okay, so, we'll go on to the next items. The next items that we're gonna end up going to is the consent agenda, but with that, apparently, the item says Vice Chairman Reisig request abstaining on action regarding claim 26070000165. Can we just, move to pull that one out?
Yes, that could just be retracted out of the consent agenda, and that could be taken up separately, and
And I do have it set up for separate. I need the wording from you for how to do that top part. I just keep copying from previous ones when I was winging it one time.
okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for us to get it down to a process and a procedure, so it's the same every time and the
Well,
language
it's
And,
been the same, it's just,
is exactly how we want it,
and
or
Russ
how
can,
Jason wants
he
it.
can vote that way on everything
On being
else
out.
except.
I can vote to hold
Yeah.
it out, I just can't
Right.
vote for it.
Right. Okay, so, do we need to, you say you have it set up where we can do a motion to pull that item?
yes.
Alright, so I would move that we would pull the claim number 26070000165 because, Commissioner Reisig has a possible conflict of interest.
I'll second that.
What is the claim for? Culvert for up at, north of Scotts Bluff.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? We'll go ahead and vote.
You have 5 yeses?
Motion's carried, so, Commissioner Reisig will, abstain from that. So we do have the consent agenda, which is, the consent agenda is intended for action on several items. Unless someone would like to consider them separately, we have a number of those listed on your agenda tonight. And I'd ask, is there anyone that would like to consider anything separate other than the one that's already been mentioned?
I see we have one to Moral Hardware also.
That's it.
That is the
That's-
one.
That's the one,
One's been pulled.
same one, okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
thank you.
Entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the consent agenda minus the item that we took out. We'll vote on later.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented with the one item pulled out that we've already talked about. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried. Now, we need to discuss and consider the claim 26070000165, which is a claim of apparently to Moral Hardware, which is a company that Commissioner Reisig is part of, and that's why he wanted to not vote on this item. Any other discussion, or I'd entertain a motion?
I move that we approve claim number 26070000165 for a culvert from Moral Hardware.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 4 yeses and then Reisig abstained.
Okay, motion's carried. Okay, we'll go to the next item, which is Board of Equalization. We need a motion to go into the Board of Equalization.
I move that we go into the Board of Equalization.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second to go into Board of Equalization. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Alright, motion's carried. The first item under Board of Equalization is discuss and consider approval of one veteran vehicle exemption waiver for Renee Neva?
I'm not sure.
Okay, me either.
So this is a vehicle that he purchased. He came in after, the 30 days. It was purchased in Colorado, and so he is requesting, it would be a refund of the motor vehicle tax of $500 on this vehicle.
I would move for approval.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve the veteran vehicle exemption waiver. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried. Then we have another, veteran vehicle request for Don Roth that was added
Yeah.
to the agenda.
So this one, I received late Friday afternoon. He renewed his vehicle earlier this year, was not aware of the benefit, and came in and spoke with Matt last week inquiring about the exemption. I have a letter from Matt requesting it and a letter from him also requesting it. This one is a tax loss of $714.
Move for approval.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to, approve the veteran vehicle exemption waiver for
Give
Don
me
Rock.
just a second, please.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next item is, discuss and consider approval of late filed homestead application, parcel 010071687. So we have, I believe, copies of the Form 458. And, I think on these, this is the one that ends
You should have a copy of the letter from the taxpayer
in,
as well.
so,
Yep. So, I know we've talked over 4 on the agenda that we've added 2, there's 6. You have to vote on each one of them one at a time.
Sure.
But from an assessor's office, I recommend approval of all of these. The board can approve late homesteads clear until August 20th, which is today.
okay.
So, I would request that you approve all of them.
This is July 20th,
What did I say?
August
Oh, no, sorry, July 20th.
20th. Okay.
So this is the last day, is what you're saying?
He did
Today
say
is the
that.
last day.
Alright. So, and you're suggesting that they all be approved,
Yes, sir.
and, but we need to take action on them separately. So, I would entertain a motion on the first one.
I move to approve. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I move to approve parcel 010071687.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve the homestead exemption application on that parcel. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried. The next one is is the same thing, a late filed homestead exemption,
Move for approval.
okay?
We need the parcel number, I think, for the recording, don't we?
We can certainly put it in there, 010337792.
I'll second that.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. We'll go ahead and vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried. The third one down, a, late filed homestead exemption application.
Move for approval of parcel number 010350357.
I'll second that one.
Alright, so we have a motion and a second to approve that, application. We'll go ahead and vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Alright, motion's carried. So we'll go down to the, fourth one down, which is, again, an item to approve the, late filing of the homestead.
Move for approval of
application.
parcel number 010059229.
I'll second that one.
So I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Alright, and so then we've added 2 of them, so the next one is the homestead application for 010067469.
Make a motion to approve that one.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and a second. Let's go ahead and vote.
You have 5 yeses?
Motion's carried. And then the, last one is again the late filing of the homestead application 010146180.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the late filing of homestead exemption. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses?
Motion's carried. Okay, the next item is to receive the tax list corrections, which we have a list of, that was included in our packet. Are there any questions or comments on these?
Motion to approve the tax list corrections as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to approve the tax list corrections. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses?
Motion's carried. Okay, so we need a motion to go out of the Board of Equalization.
I move that we go out of Board of Equalization.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second to go out of Board of Equalization. We'll go ahead and vote.
You have 5 yeses?
Okay, motion's carried. The next items are general agenda items. The first one is to receive programming update along with the Panhandle Cookie Bites 4-H Club. Jackie Guzman, early childhood extension educator, lead educator, and coach Cody Creek of the Panhandle Cookie Bites Lego Robotics team.
Nope, I was just waiting for I just am here for purposes of, and I'm trying to keep my part brief so that I can give, the time that our Cookie Bites team, deserves. But I'm here to share our first quarter, newsletter. Over on the right, talks about Audra and some of the ag, training, science lessons she teaches in, public schools. And then, the free farm and ranch succession workshop offered by, Jessica Grosskopf. She's our, ag economist at the Extension Center, and I brought her in, before to share her work. And this one specifically was on estate planning. So let me read to you, just a brief introduction about our first LEGO League before I have them come up. So we held our first LEGO League Challenge Championship Robotics Expansion event March 20th through 21st. More than 1,000 youth, coaches, families, and volunteers filled the Cook Pavilion and Coliseum for the 17th Annual Championship led by Nebraska 4-H, part of Nebraska Extension. The event featured students in grades 4 through 8 who work in teams to solve robotics challenges using LEGO Mindstorms technology. Teams traveled from across Nebraska as well as South Dakota and Iowa to compete. In total, 108 teams representing 41 communities across 33 counties participated, with 683 youth taking part. Teams set up their pits where they displayed team colors, innovation challenge projects, and their competing robots. During downtime in the competition, participants toured the UNL campus and attended hands-on activities at the Kiewit Hall. We maximize our time when we're there. The Johnny Carson Center for Emerging Media Arts, the Department of Biological Systems Engineering, and the Jeffrey S. Rakes School of Computer Science and Management. Industry partners hosted experience booths, giving students an opportunity to learn how robotics are used in a variety of fields. Competition requirements include competing the Innovation Challenge and designing, building, and programming a robot to complete tasks during a 2.5-minute run. This season's Unearthed Innovation Project asked teams to identify a real-world problem faced by archaeologists and propose a solution. Throughout the season, youth applied STEM skills and collaborated to explore archaeology-inspired problems while they also learned more about themselves and their communities. One such team, the Panhandle Cookie Bites from Scotts Bluff County, built a prototype of Archie, the autonomous robotic collaborator. For historical investigations and excavation, a compact robot designed to reach areas inaccessible to humans to gather artifacts and data. The Panhandle Cookie Bites took home the overall championship trophy for the robotic build, match, and innovation project scores. So without any further ado, I'm going to allow them to come up and tell you about the project. Thanks.
Come on up, guys. Do we have any place we can set that, maybe? Yeah, I think maybe we can set it there. Very good.
All right, I'll have these two kind of explain a little bit more about what they do in this robotics contest. Like Jackie mentioned, out of over 100 teams, they placed first in the state of Nebraska.
Did you say first?
First.
That's great.
And because of that, they qualified to go to Worlds in Houston and competed against 160 other teams across the world. They finished in the top third in that contest down in Houston a couple months ago. And so they had a good year. This is their third year. The previous year, they were the third place team in Nebraska and went to a contest in Massachusetts. And the year before that, their rookie season, they were second place in the state, and they went to Daytona Beach, Florida, and competed there. So they've been around, competed well, and a lot of it has to do with the community support to get these kids the resources they need. We've had a grant from the Oregon Trail Foundation to get a lot of this stuff. We have a lot of support from businesses to help fund these kids to go to these contests. We've probably raised over $70,000 in the last 3-4 years for robotics itself. So with that, I'll have them explain a little bit about this, I guess what they've done in these last few years.
I'm Brooklyn. Okay, I'm Brooklyn Creech, and I'm 14 years old. I'm Gage Creech, and I'm 11 years old. We do a lot through 4-H. So we show pigs, we do meat judging and livestock judging, but one of the things that we do is robotics. So there's 4 parts to robotics, but I'm going to share about the 2 of the parts from robotics. I get to share about the innovation project and core values. Innovation project, there's a theme every year given by First LEGO League, and this year's theme was archaeology, specifically helping an archaeologist with their field of work. We created Archie, which is an acronym for Autonomous Robotic Collaborator for Historical Investigation and Excavation. It's designed to help archaeologists with their work, get places that archaeologists can't get, and things like that. Last year, it was helping ocean researchers. We created the Aquavine robot, which is an underwater robot that can assist with finding and discovering things under the ocean. And the year before that was helping your community in like a hobby, and we created a sewing lab, which is at the Research and Extension Center. So that's open to the community. Another part to robotics is core values. There's 6 parts to core values. There's fun, innovation, impact, inclusion, discovery, and I'm missing something. I already said impact. Anyways, there's 6 of them, and we try to grow our skills in those areas and to exemplify those throughout the season.
And then the other 2 parts of robotics are robot design, which is how we build our Lego robot. And then so in the judging room, a judge tells us how well we built our robot, like our design of it, how effective it is on the robot board, which is the next part, and then tells us how effectively we use our sensors. And then for the next part is robot games, which is when you get.
Way to go, Matt.
That's what. When we
There goes your competition for next year, right there.
when we use our robot on the robot game board. That's why we build this robot. So it competes on this game board, which has multiple missions. Every team gets the same missions, and that's their goal, is to complete as many as they can in 2.5 minutes.
Wow. So how much time did you have to, once you get the problem, how much time did you have to create this?
We start in about September, and our state competition is in March. So we have a few months to get everything together, have a presentation. It's usually about 30 minutes in the judging room with the judges, and we give them our presentation and we answer questions. So we have about 7 months. And then Houston was in May, so we had about 2 more months, just over a month, to get to just try and make some improvements so we can be the best we can be in Worlds.
And did you build that in that Panhandle research room where the robotics, that's where you actually built it?
Mhm.
I've been in that room and pretty impressed with the different things that you have been working on in there.
How old are you guys again?
He's 11 and I'm 14, and we have other team members that are also 11. We range from 11-year-olds to 14-year-olds.
Really?
Mhm.
I have to have my 10-year-old show me how to build a car.
Are you,
Can't do it.
are all 4 of you from the same elementary school or not?
So
Not for
it's
you,
a
but-
community team. So Gage and I are actually homeschooled. So there's about 3 homeschoolers on the team, and then there's 4 public schoolers, and they're from different elementary schools and middle
Wow.
schools.
Oh.
There is hope.
Yeah, very good. I should tell you all, and Jackie's heard it many times, and I've just recently told it again to Mr. Irick and the others that were at the regional governance meeting the other day, but I am a major believer in 4-H, and having went through lots of 4-H things at the time, and especially the animal things, but we never got to do this. And all I know is that time spent having productive things to do for you and our kids in general across the county and in our schools or whatever, the better off we are as a community. And we certainly appreciate the leaders being involved with it, and we appreciate you guys wanting to be involved. And but it certainly teaches you lifelong lessons, and it's a great project, and 4-H in general is a good life building skill, and I'm glad you're doing that. So
You know, it's one thing to build these kind of things, you know, and I'm amazed at what kids can do and what they build out of Legos and all this stuff. But to go down and win first place,
Well, did you see how well she dealt with operator error just a moment ago?
Yeah, so
wow.
you know, these kids are pretty sharp. So the Scotts Bluff Robotics team club involves 4 teams just like these kids, and then there's 2 older teams that are high school teams that are in a higher league. And they both competed down in Colorado this last year, but they'll be competing in Nebraska this year. And so there's about 35 kids that are involved in this club overall. And the older kids that are in the high school teams build bigger robots out of metal and more typical robot things. And those kids are really advanced in coding. They're working in AI where they have cameras on those robots that can see things, and based on what they see, they're coded to do certain actions. And so because of the success we had team members going to Scotts Bluff High School, and this last year they started up a team as well that we mentored to help get off the ground, and I think that team will continue to go as well. The older team that's been around, I guess the original team, those kids have started to graduate. 3 of them are going into engineering and robotics at UNL. Another one's at UNK. When we competed down in Colorado, all the kids on the team received a scholarship to college down there, the university in Denver, it starts with an R, Regis. Each kid on the team, so there were 7 kids, they each received $125,000 scholarship if they chose to go to Regis. But they all chose to go in-state so far.
How big was the scholarship?
$125,000 for each kid. And so these kids that come out of this program are highly, because of their skill set, they are in high demand. I, as a coach, I don't know how to code. These kids know more than me when it comes to coding and programming. I just there to help facilitate. But they're really sharp kids, and they present well, and they carry themselves well.
How'd the older kids do in their competition?
They were one of the top 10 teams in Colorado.
But not number one.
But not number one. There's the team in Colorado that consistently wins worlds, basically.
Maybe you guys can help them out a little bit.
And so this kid is a little bit younger, because we had so many kids graduate. We're taking all these kids and moving them up into that upper league. So they'll be going against high school kids next year, just because a lot of those kids graduated and we need to refill that team. So because these kids have done well in Nebraska the last 3 years, we figured we'll go on to a new challenge. So they're going to move up and compete against high school kids, and we'll mentor these younger teams, and hopefully we'll have somebody fill in our.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
follow
we're
us.
proud of you.
Thank you.
My neighbor kids,
Can we see, does this work?
It's not plugged in. This is the autonomous robot that they coded. So it would find artifacts out here for archaeology and recover them, or select specific tools to recover those artifacts. And so they did it. The goal they had was to get an AI camera on here, so it would be able to see, and then based on what it sees, do
That's
things.
amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Get it, but they'll be doing AI cameras in the next league. So.
Wow.
Mike, did you have something?
Great.
yeah, I was gonna say, I had the opportunity over the last several years to help out my neighbor kids who are on the robotics team, fundraising and seeing the stuff they built, and it's just amazing. And I wanna give a shout out to homeschool kids. I'm a big fan of homeschooling.
I am as
So,
well.
Well, I mentioned
congratulations.
that we show pigs. These are my 2 kids, and we show pigs from March until October. And so we stay busy. County fairs next week. We'd love to see you. Come see our pigs. We'll have a whole bunch of them there. But we'll be in state fair, and we go all the way up to Billings and Rapid City and everywhere else. So
And while you're right there, can I get you to spell your last name for me?
Creech.
I didn't think it looked right on our
Yeah. No, it's
agenda. Thank you.
Keep up the good work, you guys.
Yeah, very good.
Wow. That's amazing. Absolutely blows me away.
Thanks, Jackie. Appreciate it.
$125,000 scholarships.
Okay, we'll go to the next item on the agenda, receive inventories from the treasurer, facility manager, assessor, veteran service officer, and we pulled off the county clerk and the elections office. Kelly, do you wanna say anything on these?
No, just, I put me up there so that I could have you guys pass it around to sign
Sure.
for me while we're listening to
Okay.
Luke's presentation, so.
Okay.
Okay, so, I would only say that, for the record, we did receive these inventories in a digital form from the clerk. And, so we do have those. We do not have hard copies here, but we do have digital copies.
And you do have hard copies right here.
Okay, that we're gonna sign off on. Okay, are there any questions? And if not, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve the inventories for treasurer, facilities manager, assessor, and veteran service officer.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to, receive those inventories. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
We have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried. Okay, we'll come to the next item, which is receive an update from NACO. Luke,
Thank you.
how do you pronounce your last name, Luke?
Let me try. Bunkowitz.
Bunkowitz.
Well, you pronounced it right, and I'll tell you why. Because the females in my family say it Bonkowitz. The males say it Bonkowitz. I cannot explain it to you. It goes back generations. So yes, Luke
Okay.
Bonkowitz is my name, and I have some information for you. I'll explain it here. Okay, right off the bat, I'm going to warn you, I'm going to speak super fast. I'm going to be very direct about a lot of stuff because I have an enormous amount of information I'd like to communicate, and I know that your agenda is very, very full. So, again, my name is Luke Bonkwich. I am with Nick. I'm a research analyst. My job there is to figure out when someone gets an idea that might affect county government, how is it going to affect revenue in terms of it bringing in or taking away from county government. And today, I'm speaking to you about some NACO updates. John is fond of saying that we are your employees, right? And so we think it's incumbent upon us to go around at least once a year and give you an idea of what we've been working on. This packet of information is intended to kind of supplement and condense some of the stuff that I'm talking about. A lot of times in the past, we've come to you when we've read off information and people are writing down, trying to take notes. Hopefully, this reduces the need to have to take notes. For example, we have our events listed on that front page. Some of them we've already had, some of them are upcoming, such as district meetings, the conference, so on and so forth. But that's intended to just give you an idea of sort of what's coming up. That second page, is your profile. I want to say a word about this. We have built a County Explorer page for every single county in Nebraska. It's on NACO's webpage. We do not think that it is fair, reasonable to ask elected officials in any county to carry around information like the total valuation, what's the taxation, what's the unemployment rate, where are the demographics, what's your voter turnout in your back pocket. That's just not reasonable. I have been all around the internet, and I can tell you that this website on the World Wide Web is the place to go for information about your county and your county's information. This is a one-page fact sheet that is on the web page. You can print it out. It is a little bit outdated. We are updating the numbers, we are updating the data sources, and we are in the process of putting this up on the website. We're pointing this out because sometimes people have questions about your county, and we're asking and basically suggesting that you drive all people to this particular website. You have a question about an issue, or you have a question about a data point in Scotts Bluff County, this is the place to go. That third sheet, if you flip it over, is a one-pager. 2 points about this. We understand that there are concerns, and people are concerned about rising property valuations, property taxes. And so what we've tried to do here is walk people through what your property taxes actually look like from a county government perspective. We are not speaking for the other political subdivisions. So first of all, we start off with county property valuations, and then we talk about what it costs to run your particular county. Then we talk about what that levy rate actually looks like, and then we pulled out data from a typical home in Scotts Bluff County and then tried to calculate the average residential tax bill. Again, this is average. Some people are going to be higher. Some people are going to be lower. And then what we've tried to do is compare it to the other household expenses. For example, electricity, gas, other fuel expenses, cell phone, water, so on and so forth. And so what we're trying to demonstrate here is we understand people are concerned about rising property valuations and rising property taxes. We are trying to demonstrate that this is actually a really good deal for what you're getting in terms of roads, bridges, emergency management, for your particular county, public safety, so on and so forth, compared to your other household expenses. And we're also trying to point out that we know that for a variety of reasons, a county government is sort of front and center when it comes to property valuations and property taxes. And sometimes either political subdivisions, and I'm not speaking poorly about them, that's just the nature of the beast, sometimes they're a little bit hidden and they don't have to sort of face the brunt of this like you guys do. And so we try to point out that this is a small slice of the total property tax bill. Sometimes it's depending on the levy rate, sometimes between 18 and 23% of the total tax bill. The second reason I'm pointing this particular sheet out is this. When we talk about county issues, when we talk about legislative bills or whatever it is, the governor's team has an idea, a senator has an idea, a special interest group has an idea that they think should become law. When we talk and when we have conversations with elected officials, the senators, the governor's team, and we're able to give them a sheet of paper, this has proved enormously effective in our data-driven storytelling, because we can have a conversation, we can talk all day long, but if I can have an elevator pitch with a senator, a 3 to 5 minute conversation, say, hey, here's this sheet of paper, here's the issue, here's how it's going to affect county government, here's some actual numbers of how it's going to affect revenue in county government, and here is our suggestion for either advocating for or against it. That's proven enormously effective because we are starting to see state senators walk onto the floor of the legislature and read from these sheets. We're not trying to unduly influence senators. What we're trying to do is have the story of county government be told on the floor of the legislature. And if we can give them something to talk about, that's proven enormously effective. So that's the reason I'm putting that on there. The last few pages of the packet have to do with our preferred partners. For example, we know that a number of counties have had staffing issues all across the state, and so they've worked with the Zelle, for example, and so that we've listed them on there. If there's a particular service that you're looking for, whether it's a lease purchase program, deferred compensation, these are the folks that you can reach out to. You can also reach out to Candace if you have questions about that as well. A few items I'd like to talk about as I wrap up here. Next session is going to be the long session for legislation, not just figuratively. It's going to be the long session. It's probably going to stretch into June. Previously it was the short session. Some things that came up this year, which are probably going to come back next year. One is going to be inheritance tax. We know that they've been coming for the inheritance tax for years. It's come up again and again and again, and they're whittling it down. Just as a reminder, NACO is not taking the philosophical position on the inheritance tax. We're not trying to say it's a good tax or a bad tax. What we're trying to ask is, if you'd like to get rid of the inheritance tax, fair enough. We would like to know how you will compensate county government for that $90 to $100 million annually. That's our question. So if you want to talk about this is a good or bad, fine, have that discussion. We're going to stay out of that. We're asking for revenue replacement, because what we're essentially saying to senators is, when we talk them through this, we're saying, okay, if you'd like to take this away, where is the money going to come from when we do courthouse repairs, for security, for law enforcement personnel, for cruisers, for emergency management, for roads, for bridges? Because essentially, and I tell senators this when we meet, I go through the budgets every year, not because I'm auditing anyone, but because I build data. I build data on line items every single year. And so I say, I understand that there's this rhetoric of like, let's trim the fat, let's do less with more. My response to that is, what do you want county government to trim? Because if we get down to it, we're just going to have to start cutting people, or we have to start cutting services. Now, there might be some so-called fat to be cut from maybe larger counties, the big five. I'm not saying they're mismanaging their money. I'm just saying there's more money there that can be cut. But when we talk about rural Nebraska, when we talk about, my county where like my people grew up, which is Cheyenne, which is Keith County, I'm not seeing fat to cut. Okay? And so what we're trying to communicate to them about the inheritance tax is, if you want to do away with this, make sure you make county government whole. Okay? That's going to come up again. We don't know how this is going to play out. We're just starting to hear chatter about that. The other thing that happened this session was the so-called shot clock bill involving zoning. 663 came out, and it basically says, we're putting out information. There's a point to why I'm telling you this. If a special permit or a conditional use permit application comes across your table, the shot clock is going to kick in that says you have so many days, and if you don't take action, it's automatically going to be approved. So what we in NACO have done in the last, I would say, 60 to 90 days is we've put together a toolkit. And this toolkit's going to come out. It may have actually come out today. The email came out. Okay, great. I wasn't sure if they were going to, I'm on the road, so I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do. But this toolkit has come out, and I'm just telling you now, not to be daunted, it's 100 pages. However, it's not intended to be read as a book, okay? It's intended to be used as a toolkit. You don't use every tool in your toolbox, right? If you need a wrench, you pull out the wrench. So if someone comes to Scotts Bluff County and they say, we'd like a data center, we would like a solar farm, we'd like a wind farm. And just as a quick aside, NACO has taken the position, we are not saying that you should or should not have these special projects. You do as your county sees fit, okay? We're saying if these special projects come into your county, here's how you should approach them. And this toolkit's designed so if someone comes, just as an example, solar farm or data center, okay, we flip to the solar section or the data center, you pull out those 5 to 6 pages, and that will explain to you what is a data center, what are the questions that you should be asking of this permittee, and then what are the steps that you probably should take. And it includes like diagrams with timelines of, okay, if you get this permit, you have so many days to do this. After this, this is your next step. So hopefully this will be a step-by-step guide for whatever permit application comes your way. It has a ton of resources. We've been working on it for a great deal of time. The other thing about that toolkit is this, and this has to do with 663. This toolkit has what we're calling a pre-application process. So if you wanted to think about creating some type of pre-application process the applicants have to fill out before they can submit a permit, you can do that. And here's why this is important. If right now somebody just submits a permit, you have to take a look at it and you have to decide if it's complete, and this clock starts to kick in. However, if you have a pre-application process, you can say before this is considered complete, you need to complete these steps. It's not intended to deter applicants. What's intended to do is have applicants think through the process and communicate with planning and zoning, whoever they need to plan for, whatever they need to do before they give you their application. So now when you give them their application, you can see, oh, they've already gone through this checklist. So that will help make your process more efficient and much more well-informed, so you can make a decision. So we're not like up against this window of having to, yes, the clock.
The clock won't start
Until you get it and until you deem it complete. And then there's some other steps. For example, when the planning and zoning administrator receives it, there's a timeline for them, and then when they make a recommendation, they get it to you. Like, you have to determine whether it's complete. So there's a chart in this toolkit. It's basically, it's a flow chart that says, okay, if you're at this stage, this is what you need to do. Here's when you need to do it by. Okay, so that's coming out. A few other things that came out, and then I'll answer questions here. We had some legislative bills that came out that had to do with fee increases, and that had to do with a couple different changes. And I just want to stress that we're not trying to, because I know that the public asks you these questions. We're not trying to increase fees because we're looking to make a ton of a huge profit off county residents. We're simply trying to keep up with the cost of doing business. And some of these fees that have been updated, dock stamps, so on and so forth, that we've had to update, these haven't been updated in decades, and that's not an exaggeration. Some of these fees go back to the 60s and 70s when stuff cost $1, right, to do county business. We're just trying to keep up, just so that we can keep up with the cost of doing business. Beth does an excellent job of keeping us up to date with this legislative newsletter. I would strongly encourage you, if there's a document, if you you're way down, if you have to read one thing during the legislative session, that's the document to read, because it will explain the legislative bill, how it affects county government, and what stage it's at, and what NACO is doing. And you don't have to read the whole 5 to 6 page document. You just have to pay attention to the bills that you're looking at. Okay. There's a couple other things that Elaine has sent out. I'm not going to repeat those. They have to do with the Open Meetings Act and the fact that we don't have it posted anymore. We simply have to have a copy, so on and so forth. So those emails, these things are coming out. I'm happy to talk about anything specific, but right now I know that I've just unloaded like a dump truck of information on you, and that's why I'm speaking so quickly. I would take questions or speak more fully on a topic, and if I don't have information, I'm happy to get back to you. Yes.
Well, I was just wondering on this, you never gave us a total tax ask for the county. You've danced all around it. I guess you can sit here and figure it out. I mean, the average person could. It would really be nice if we had the total tax ask on here.
The value.
You're showing 22.4%.
Let's see here.
15.3.
15.3.
No, that's the counties. I want the total.
Oh.
I want the total, what we're collecting for the county.
Oh, I see what you mean. Not the county government, like the counties were
Yeah,
for
'cause
all
you're-
the political subdivisions combined.
I'd like to have this last box right down here with the.
Oh, that's
total.
interesting,
That
yeah.
way we can take out the 15.3 and see what extras, being spent, because basically, when we're doing tax protests, people are coming here and thinking that we're the biggest user of the money. Well, you've got 22.4%, it shows it, but it doesn't show the total dollars that we're taking in.
That's a good thing. We were struggling for space here, as you can see. That might be a good thing that we can asterisk
Now,
and put
Robert
on
did
there.
one with a pie chart,
Mhm.
and that is excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, a pie chart does that so well, but I mean, I'd really like to see that number. What you've done here is
Sure.
perfect, except it doesn't show us the total collected assets on this 4.2 billion.
Right. Exactly. If it's 22%, it's probably going to be somewhere in the area of, I don't know, probably 65, 70 million. But again, it would be nice just to have that number, just to compare against. $75 million is tax asking. I'm just ballparking this, but only 15.3 is actually going to
That's
county
why I
government.
would like it to be
So
there.
yes, absolutely. And so the other political subdivisions can say, oh, this is how we use your money, and this is why we're asking for this,
Well, that
because
way
that's
they
what
can-
they're asking you.
They can go to the correct median and find out where their money's being spent.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Where,
Just
where do
accountability.
you think the epic tax thing is gonna go, or where are we at on it?
I don't know. That's a fascinating question. It didn't go anywhere last time. And the reason is I think that the resistance came in several forms from several different sectors. From NACO's perspective, and we're enormously concerned about stable sources of revenue for counties. The other thing that we're concerned about is essentially, and again, I'm going to paraphrase here, I'm not, just in generalities, our concern is that if something like EPIC were to go into effect, we would be sending all the money to Lincoln, which is where I was born and raised, and I love it there. However, again, my people are from Keith County and Cheyenne County, and I get a little bit nervous when all of a sudden a giant pot of money gets sent to Lincoln to be divided up across the entire state. That causes me just a little bit of consternation, because ultimately I think that county government knows how to spend their money, and I'd prefer them to sort of have more control.
They're doing such a wonderful job now of getting the money out to us.
Oh, yeah.
I was
So
just
I
wondering
guess
if-
I hesitate. It's coming back. There's going to be a discussion about it.
Yeah.
There's absolutely going to be a discussion about it. But in terms of the amount of impetus it has, I hesitate to read the political tea
just
leaves
kind
right
of
now.
pause, I think,
Right,
or
yeah.
whatever. Maybe I don't know.
Mhm.
That's the term.
Right. It's
Okay.
not dead, I think, is the important thing. There's still some momentum and gathering, I would say.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I think it'd be good for us whenever we're making any kind of presentations or, depending on where we're going, but to, use these sheets as handouts, to give to people, that we're presenting to, or sometimes our regional governance meeting, we could take that type of sheet, or any others where we feel it's appropriate,
So
that we could
If-
print off.
you look at the screen
Thank you,
here,
Kelly.
Right,
counties,
you're right.
and then County Explorer,
Right.
and you pick your county.
Yep. And then those different
And then-
tabs, which we are in the process of
But here
updating.
is
Yep.
his
Yeah, it'll
demo
come up.
fact,
And yeah, it's even in more detail, I think, there, and I have went on to those before, but we are able to print these off
Yes.
there, and, so we can use those if we're making presentations or whatever, and I think it would be good.
And if you see something on there that's wrong or looks off, please tell me. I had a map mixed up. Somebody called me the other day and said, that's not Dixon County's map. And I said, no, it is not. I apologize. And so, again, there's 93 counties. We have literally hundreds of data points. So if I misfinger one, please tell me. I'll get it changed.
I wanna know how you're gonna gather all the information from all of our political subdivisions.
For like specifically.
For what Commissioner Reisig just asked you for.
Oh, that can be, I mean, that's up there. The revenue calculates that. So,
Okay.
yeah, actually, and we actually have links on here for like demographics. So revenue will calculate a total valuation for the county and a total taxation, all the political subdivisions. And so that's actually where this came from. So we just pulled out our number. The number's there. That's not bad at all. We can
Okay.
certainly grab that. Hmm.
Terrifying.
Yep, it is. It is a little terrifying, like sort of like sand through your hands trying to keep all the data points.
Any other comments? Steve?
I was just wondering,
Come
Yeah,
over here,
you better-
Steve, please.
Good evening. My name is Steve Loveledge. Last name Lovelidge. And I was just wondering, what part does AI play in this? And is it going to be more and more involved in your program?
And so I think that it's going to be used. I mean, we're using it like it's just built into everything these days. And so I think the question is more along the lines of like, how are we going to use it? And how are we going to disclose it? Let me give you an example of that. So with this toolkit we built out, we were very explicit in the toolkit that says we used AI. And the way we used it is we had many, many meetings. We gathered information. We vetted this information, and we put it all together. And then we asked AI to condense it and to provide sort of like a list of bullet points based on this data. And then we went through and we re-vetted and we re-vetted it again. So I guess the answer to your question is I think it's going to become increasingly common, but I can tell you, as someone who was asked to use AI, my initial response is that we need to be extremely, extremely cautious with AI. We need to be really, really careful how we use it. We need to be careful what information we feed it, and we need to be absolutely certain of the information that we're vetting and that we're putting out, and just making sure that we're telling people. Because I think people are maybe not more okay, but I think they're a little bit more understanding if we're transparent about how we're using it and when we're using it.
If we let things in our house, we might have to chase them out too.
Right?
Thanks for the question. Any other thoughts for Luke or questions?
Good information, thank you.
Yeah,
You
we
are
appreciate
very
you
welcome.
being here.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
I'm going to leave my business cards with Kelly and let you continue on. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mark, can you take a break right here?
Yeah, we can.
Safe travels.
So we're gonna take our 8-minute break, so 8 minutes would be at 5:39, we'll be back. I know, they're doing great.
You just never know.
I'm living in their surplus. And,
I have had to
he,
kill one or two.
oh,
They kinda get aggressive.
he used to work for Reed, he's a hard-working guy,
Okay.
and he's,
Don Bolin used to have my job, same job. I knew a lot of guys, but I don't.
all right, we'll bring the meeting back to order. Our next item is on the back of our agenda anyway, discuss and consider approval of the chairman's signature on the union wages for the communications center. Lisa? Come on up.
Sorry, my first commissioner meeting.
No problem.
I just have a piece of paper
Relax.
that I need your signature on.
Okay. So, Robert, do you wanna, or do you have anything to expand on this? I mean,
Not really, other than 2 meetings ago, Celinda wasn't available. I presented the salary information, and from my perspective, it was very reasonable. I think I told the commissioners at that point in time, and it was the intention for Celinda, but again, I think she's out of town for some training. She's asked Ms. Carlisle to step in for her, but to present the document, formal approval, where you actually sign off for the approval.
okay. So, yeah, we did look at the, wage information the last time she was here. Is there any questions or thoughts from anyone? I'm assuming it's all that same information we had a couple weeks ago.
I'd move for approval.
Okay,
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion further? Hearing none, we'll vote.
So was that so hard?
Yeah,
See?
That was
I
easy.
belong
5
at
yeses.
at a desk with a headset on, not here.
It's okay.
all right, the motion's carried. You wanna start it right down here? We'll sign it for you right away.
I thought it was chairman's.
Just the chair.
Oh, yeah,
Just me? Okay. Let me do that. Then Kelly may end up wanting it, I'm not sure.
Yes, I do. And then I can get it in the mailbox tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Good job.
Yeah, thank you. All right, next item is discuss and consider approval of an SDL special designated license for the Scotts Brewing Company. Kelly?
We do not have anybody here, but Sheriff's here to speak on it.
Good.
I'm here to speak on it. And I'll just tell you that every time we get an SDL, we background these folks. And through all of our assets, law enforcement assets, and so we have no objection to the Scotts Brewing Company. There's nothing negative about them.
Okay. They've done it before, right?
They have.
Right.
I'd move for approval.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve the special designated license. Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd
questions?
like to, do we know when this is?
Yeah,
this-
we don't,
Says 8:15.
we don't have any
Yeah, that's what I was
Paperwork.
wondering.
on that.
Don't have that.
It's in your packet.
Digital maybe?
It is in the packet, yeah, this one was, the event date was August 15th.
I do have a comment when you're done with that.
We normally have a, hard copy of those, but let me look here.
Do you need me to pull, I can pull up from the digital packet for you?
You mean up here?
I might have had these waiting for Sheriff
It was on the
altogether.
digital, but I don't
missed it,
see
but I
the
didn't
hard
see it.
copy here.
I believe you.
A hard copy. I was just wondering about the dates. I think if we,
So, do you have dates on this one specifically?
These are
Ken?
all for the same occasion, out at Mitchell Airfields, I believe. The only one that has a different, I've got,
Taste the blue, blue fest out there.
everything is August 15th, except for the next one coming up. Phil has the 14th and the 15th.
The same company?
I think,
No,
That's-
they're all
Okay,
different.
Okay.
I think that's for the Old West Balloon Fest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and so these are all gonna be for the same event? You're saying,
Same event, different vendors, right?
Yeah.
okay. All right, any other question? Yeah, you said.
I
go
do.
ahead.
I have a question why they would ask for this and not come and represent this in case there was questions to, for dates.
Because
It's
I
like
told
you're
them
we're
they-
approving this without a date that's designated on this paper right now.
The date was in the
The
digital
date is on it,
that you sent out.
and I can't remember where they're located out of, but I told her she didn't need to be here. She's done this 3 or 4 years in a row, so we can call her if you want me to. Yeah,
They're out of town, meaning they're out of town and couldn't be here, or they're from out of town?
Crystal and Christian Chang are the owners of Scotts
Okay,
Bluff
right over here.
Yeah.
Okay, the one that's right here in Gary.
and they made sure to include the map for you and all of that.
Well, I think in the future they should be brought in. I mean, just in case we have questions, in case dates change, anything can happen. It doesn't hurt to stand here. We're dealing with a liquor situation and it's, I think it's worth being here. But I guess that's where we're at today.
Well, I think, as Sheriff Overman said, you look the applications over, you look at the location, you look at,
I know who has the applications, I know where their businesses are, I can check into criminal records and any sort of record that we have regarding their operation.
And
And
they're-
those are not public record things, those are
Yeah.
police, records,
Oh, I agree
things
with
that
you.
I can check, and if there's a problem, I will tell you there's a problem.
No, if you're up here recommending, we've always approved them when you recommend it, but it's the first time we've ever approved one without the people being here to ask for the,
I disagree with that, but I will make
We've done it
sure, I will
before.
make sure that they know to be here.
Well,
will,
that's
from now
just
on.
my opinion. I only have one vote here, but
Oh,
I
wow.
just feel better
Okay.
for here.
everything about the application is on the application. When they get the application, there's,
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of information on
Yeah.
there, but I get the application and find out who they are, where their business is. We background all of them. I've done this since I was detective at Scotts Bluff Police and did it on liquor licenses there too. So,
Well, I do think, we would always encourage them to be here if they could. If they choose not to, they choose not to, but we would always encourage them just in case there's questions. This one's a little bit different because, it's all for the same event, and it's, an event that we're familiar with, and now in this case, that I know it's the Shanks, then I'm familiar with them a little bit, and so, but, yeah, so, I think that, based on that, I'll probably be okay, but we would always encourage them to be here just in case questions
That's
come
what
up.
that's the only reason, cause I'm gonna work off of what you say anyway. If you even have a glitch, I'm out.
Right.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Did we get a motion?
We have a
We got
motion and a second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to approve the SDL, for Scott Free Brewing Company. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Russ, you're there.
Yeah, it didn't get up there,
You have 5 yeses?
Motion's carried. Okay, the next one is discuss and consider approval of an SDL, special designated license for Great Plains Distillery.
Phil is not able to be here, but is available by phone call if you want me to call him right now.
And
I think it's worth being here. I mean, if it's worth having a request, I think it's worth being here for it.
Phil, is.
Mitchell that works for Scotts Bluff County.
Yeah,
does
he's
this.
part-time and he's had some previously.
He has.
And have you had any issues or problems?
No issues whatsoever.
Okay. Well,
Do you guys have
I
any
don't,
questions for him?
for me, I don't need to call him. Do you want them to call him?
No, it'd be better if
This
they were
time?
here, as far as I'm concerned.
He
If not,
he planned on being here and he just let me know today that he wouldn't be able to be here.
Okay.
I move to approve the special designated license for Great Plains Distillery.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the SDL for Great Plains Distillery. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. I do have a, let's
You have 5 yeses.
motion's carried. So are all of these the same time period, the 5 PM to 10:30?
that should be on here.
It is on,
It is on here.
It
There are
is
some
on here.
different times, but
I-
each of the applications does have
Right.
some slightly different times listed.
but the fact is, we did, or do have them and did have them in the digital form. We just don't have them. A lot of times we get these in a hard copy,
Yeah,
and we didn't get that this time, and I think that's what we're not used to.
I think that's right. Okay.
And this is gonna be held at the Mitchell Airfield.
Correct.
And the 15th, is that the Friday night then?
Saturday night.
Saturday? Okay, thanks. Okay. Alright, so we're up to the next one, which is discuss and consider approval of the SDL special designated license for Papa Moon Vineyards and Winery. She is here.
And she's
Look at that. Good
Yeah.
for you.
I made it.
Well, we want you to be able to speak since you're here.
I'm Catlin Massey, and we're here requesting a STL for the Old West Balloon Fest. It's their night glow. I think ours says 4 to 10, I believe, just to kind of give us a little bit of wiggle room that if there's, make sure we're still within our hours. Now, I did talk with Mark when I first came in, and I had one thing wrong on that application. I had the event contact as Colleen Johnson, who is the head of the event. Mark corrected me and said I needed to have me as a contact on there in case there were issues or something along those lines. So I can correct that if need be. I did scribble it out and fill it in on the application, the hard copy that Mark has, but I can resubmit another application if that's something you guys need, or I can do whatever is needed with that. And then Kelly, I did also just email you a copy of the map that is like the digital, I have it just written out on that, but I did just send you a copy of the map as well. That is like a Google aerial view of the Mitchell Airfield as well, so.
So you have a copy of this signed? Are you gonna give that to me or do I need my own? Okay.
I can redo it if you need me to, that's typed and pretty, but.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
Alright. So let me ask a question, and maybe it's of you. So does each, SDL have their own secured area?
No, it will be all one
One.
big area.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'm,
I would move for approval.
okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the SDL for Papa Moon Vineyards and Winery. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried.
Thank you guys very
Thanks.
much.
All right, the next one, discuss and consider approval of an SDL for BDS3C LLC doing business as Flyover Brewing Company.
Good evening, commissioners. I'm here too.
Thank you.
And
Same
your-
event,
Thank
Right.
you.
same
And your-
day, same time.
And
Say
your
your
name for
name.
the
My
record.
name's Nicole Egan. It's on the SDL is Nikki. I'm the marketing promotions and offsite manager for Flyover.
Okay.
So I handle all of our SDLs, and anywhere the beer trailer goes, I go.
Okay.
Mark,
So,
what's your recommendation on this one?
Recommend approval. There's
I'll make,
nothing, you just had, these two have businesses.
We
in
just
Scotts
wanna-
Bluff that have been here for a while.
right.
And in more than one occasion, they've had SDLs before, and there's no problems whatsoever that they've ever had with their liquor license.
But I think they just want it on here. I'll make a motion to approve.
all right, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second to approve the SDL for BDS3C LLC.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah. All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried.
Thank you,
Thanks so much
Commissioners. Have a
for
great
being
night.
here. All right, so the next item is discuss and consider temporarily moving some public transit positions from full-time to part-time and adding additional part-time drivers to address budget shortfalls.
You skipped the first one there, sir.
Oh, yeah. I
Public
thought about
hearing.
it. I marked it off, I checked it
Okay.
off already. Discuss and consider setting a date and time for a public hearing, proposing a passenger fare and administrative fare increase for Tri-City Roadrunner. Let's do that first.
Yeah, against my desire, I guess, come to a point where we've got to generate some additional revenue, and we've negotiated a higher rate with Medicare, Medicaid. We're kind of partnering that up with this administrative fee. We do a lot of direct billing for Health and Human Services and some other entities. DHHS uses 2 different billing portals. One is quite simple. The other one is more designed for caseworkers versus transit, and it's a very cumbersome platform to use. So we traditionally had charged $1 per trip administrative fee. With this, I'm just looking at working with Kelly and the board to set a date for the public hearing so I can get my public notices published. The plan is we have our current fare structure is 0 to 8 miles is $2 on a one-way trip. Add $1 to that to go to 3. 8 to 16 is $4. Take that from 4 to 5, and over 16 is 5. Take that to 6. And then any direct bill trip, instead of $1 admin fee, would be a $2 admin fee.
And that admin fee goes to
It goes directly,
Medicare.
goes
But does
to,
it,
comes
doesn't go to
us.
the customer?
No, the administrative fee is for a direct bill for a third-party bill. Like, so
Okay.
when we're billing, the biggest one is Health and Human Services and through the aging office and those. We do a few other entities, but a lot of those we've pushed them or worked with them to maybe use monthly passes on the route to help save some paperwork and admin time. And
So
with that,
right now, your passenger fee is,
anywhere really in town here is $2 each way.
yeah, and,
Once you get beyond the 8 miles, between 8 and 16, it goes up to 4.
and you're proposing $1
Just a dollar.
increase.
Yep. So
for
from
each one.
2 to 3, 4 to 5, and 5 to 6, based on our mileage parameters.
An admin fee.
And then the admin fee, any direct bill trip is normally $1, now it would be $2, so if it's an in-town trip, currently we would bill that at $3, that would go to $5.
Now,
Because that's $1 for the fare and a $1 extra for the admin fee.
so I just wanna be sure, it's the 3, 4, 5, or the 3, 5, whatever. it
3, 5,
was.
6
Yeah,
is what,
that is what the customer pays.
correct.
The administrative fee is paid by Medicare, whoever else.
Right, they
Okay.
pay for the trip and the admin fee
Alright.
for those, there,
Right.
if the folks have that benefit. And then,
Okay.
so we did just negotiate a higher rate for ambulatory on Medicaid. It almost doubled. I'm working on some projections on that, but my transit coordinator does all, she's been out with some dental work. So, and then we've adjusted some of our rate for passengers in wheelchairs for Medicaid. It's a little bit, we'll see an increase on that as well.
So you just said something that made me think here, so really, the customer in most of those cases are paying zero. Medicare is paying for
Any
the
direct,
fee
any
and
direct
the
bill or
administrative
Medicare,
fee.
yes, those are paid by a third party.
Okay.
And those are considered sponsored fares, which come off of the county's portion of the obligation. That's why I've been able to keep that under 200,000 number,
Okay.
is by trying to find as much revenue as I can.
How much do you anticipate gaining in revenue?
Passenger fares, we normally bring in between 5,000 and 6,000 a month, and that's tapered down a little with our reduced hours. So you're looking at a 30, basically a 30% increase roughly. Again, projecting that out, instead of 6,000, we'd probably bring in around 8 to 9,000. But honestly, we have people struggling to pay the $2, so we're hoping that doesn't become an issue. But with these cuts, I'm out of options to raise revenues. Still looking at some outside sources. I've reached out to some other local municipalities, other agencies, and still in the initial phases of getting an RFP put together to work on an advertising package. The issue I'm finding there is most of the folks that do that don't want to provide the hardware. They want to take care of the actual marketing part of it with the sales and generating the digital and the vinyl advertising part, but they want us to take care of it if we want to do any type of displays on the vehicles, and I don't have the money to do that. Potentially dip into our capital my capital improvement fund, but if I do that, the state doesn't have the money to do any reimbursing, so that'd be 100% on us and deplete that account, which I don't want to do because I'm trying to hold on to that in the event we run short a little bit towards the end of the fiscal year.
What do you anticipate, or would you like to have for this public hearing? Do you have a date?
Well, Kelly, we need to publish it twice. The public notices, I'll put them on our Facebook page, and then we'll put them in the Star Herald. So based on publication dates, and then we had talked, I visited with Russ earlier today about potentially doing it prior to a regular meeting between 3 and 4. That way any of our riders that want to come, we could get them to and from within our operating hours, and then just have your regular meeting following at 4:30 to give them.
Is that gonna work for
opportunity.
the publication and all?
Yeah, Kelly can calculate here what, she has to look at her calendar here and tell me how many.
Okay.
Well, I've gotta know if we have the not more than days and
I have to have,
at least so many days
Right,
and all
and
of that stuff, so I can't answer
I just
that.
need to have it published twice. There's no real specific guidelines for that.
Didn't you say something about 10 days in your?
There's a
deal?
10-day comment period after the public
Oh,
hearing.
after, okay.
And then if we get time to answer comments, and by that point, I can take it to the state. They'll do a Title VI assessment, but because it's across the board, there shouldn't be any disparate effect on any one protected status. It's everybody. And then I would come to you with a resolution, making it our fair rate.
So, hang on just a second here. Robert's assessor office keeps wiping out some of these hearings that we had.
Some of the dates.
So if you could come see me tomorrow
Okay,
between 10:30 and 11:30-ish,
Okay,
probably up here,
okay.
so that we can pick, because I think if we hurry up, we could advertise prior to the 3rd and then be ready for the next meeting in August. I'm
Okay.
guessing the sooner the better.
So if we
So
do
the
it,
second meeting in August.
So the 17th, if we could
17th
get
of August.
together and get that ready for you.
okay, so tentatively 17th of August? Is that what, for the meeting?
That's, if you have to publish twice.
Okay,
And
Does it
so-
say a week apart or anything?
and I will double check on that, but,
so we-
Because if
you-
nothing else, if we could do it twice before that, I mean, like, they publish on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So if we could even publish on the 11th and the 13th if that is adequate, but
okay. I will double check, but it's, based on the last one we did for the reduction in
I don't
service, I
remember,
don't think
but-
there was
Okay.
any requirement for so many days apart on the publication.
So
So
we could.
tentatively on the 17th then, gentlemen, and from 3 to 4,
Okay.
if that would work. And I guess we could, if you wanted to vote on that based on pending the publication requirements, we'd tentatively schedule it for the 17th.
I'll make a motion for the August 17th for the public hearing for the wage increase, or the ride increase, or whatever you wanna call it.
Pass
Oh,
forward.
And,
Rate increase.
and do we need to say 3 to 4?
and he also included if publication works.
Right.
Right.
If it all comes
Pending
together.
If it all
confirmation
comes
of
together.
publication
Sounds good
dates.
that way.
So,
I'll second that motion.
okay.
All right, so the motion is for the, public hearing to be held August 17th.
At 3
from,
o'clock.
at 3 o'clock, and,
Till 4 o'clock.
that, and it's contingent upon approval through the clerk's office.
I think we can make it happen.
Good.
All right, so that's the motion and the second. Is there any other discussion?
It has to happen now, cause I have it on my phone.
Yeah,
And I'm not sure I can, I'm not
can
sure I
change
can get
that,
it
yeah.
off if we change it, so.
all right, hearing no other discussion, let's go ahead and vote.
You have 5 yeses.
Motion's carried. The next item, discuss and consider temporarily moving some public transit positions from full-time to part-time and adding additional part-time drivers to address the budget shortfalls.
Okay, so I guess to me, this is more of a formality to keep my budget where it needs to be. I have had, well, I'm a bus op supervisor retired, not replaced him. And then I've had one of my dispatchers and 3 of my full-time drivers voluntarily go part-time to eliminate the need for benefits. We're gonna cut their hours. We're gonna move 2 hours from our AM shift to the PM shift, and that would put our AM shift at roughly 30 hours a week, and the PM shift would be about 25 hours. So they'll increase their hours on the afternoon shift a few, but still keep them part-time. But in that also, probably with being able to reduce the hours, I'm not scheduling more hours, I'm just moving them from full-time to part-time. I do have one part-time gentleman that is, I'm ready to hire. We're basically waiting on, background check and all that, but he's gonna help us with, covering some of these additional shifts by dropping folks to part-time, just to fill our operating hours that we need.
So you're just doing this as an information only, I don't.
Well,
you don't
it's
need-
a consider, but at the same point, it's $60,000 in savings by cutting these benefits, and I'm trying to move fast, so I don't get behind the 8 ball come the end of the fiscal
Yeah.
year.
And the only reason I bring it up, we had the discussion about if you're going to hire somebody or replace
Right.
board decision.
And
I don't know that this
you had
is-
given me permission to hire a bus ops supervisor, which was a full-time position, which I did not do just because as I was doing the budget, I just didn't have the money. But in order to step these folks down to part-time, I'm gonna have to probably have at least one additional part-time driver just to cover our hours of operation.
Well, I agree with Ken that in my thought process here, you're doing this to meet some budget considerations. Our original motion about hiring other people was for the fiscal year and it ended,
End of
and
June,
so
okay.
from a technical standpoint, the way I see it, you don't need our permission to do this, but you're just trying to keep us informed.
Right, yeah. I
And
just-
we- and
because
we
it's-
appreciate that.
because it's,
Don't get me wrong.
like I said, and it was voluntary, my staff, either their spouse had insurance or, I do have two full-timers still, full-time drivers still on insurance, or one's on insurance, one's not. The other one was on vacation, I haven't spoken with her yet. The other gentleman actually already has knee replacement scheduled, so I didn't feel it was, would be a wise move to force him to go part-time, when he's already, got the surgery scheduled. And he did say that he would consider moving on his spouse's insurance later if need be.
Okay.
So that's an option there. But again, even if I don't step him down to part-time, I'm still paying that insurance because we're self-insured. So, that's a discussion he and I still have to have on reducing his hours to get him down to part-time if that
Well,
becomes a necessity.
we do appreciate you being proactive and trying to make those things happen earlier rather than later. And, but I guess, does anyone see, why we would need to take any kind of a motion on this? I don't either.
Okay.
I think
I-
you're fine,
so
and we
you're-
appreciate you keeping us
Okay,
updated.
and, on that, I do have, right now waiting to hear back from our state association executive director. We sent a letter down to Lincoln and, did get, an email back from State Senator Spivey's legislative assistant, trying to schedule a meeting, with our association. And I'm working with, our executive director to set that meeting up, to meet with her, potentially some other senators, to talk about, the state punching in some money, cause we're 25th in the state, or in the nation, in state funding of public transit at about I wanna say it's around 6.3 million. It's a little over $3 per capita per year for,
So you say we're 25th, right in the
right, and
midpoint.
there's states that are well over 100, and there's some that are 0.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty big drop from number 1 to even 25. It's a significant decrease, and the state's historically been one of the lowest as far as funding public transit. So we're pushing it from a state association level as well to try and help us. We're
Okay.
trying to stir as much interest as we can and get the word out and try and scrape up some additional funding for all of us.
All right,
So.
You had sent out a letter to the federal delegation. Have you, any response from any of those offices?
No, nothing yet, so, anyway, that's all I have, but I appreciate it.
okay, thank you.
Thanks, Kurt.
Okay, that'll take us to our next item, which is discuss and consider county obligations on predator control. We got Commissioner Meyer and Ryan Powers is here.
Yes, good evening.
Hi,
Hi.
go ahead.
Well, I'll let Ken start this discussion
Okay.
because I was invited to come to this meeting here. I was at the meeting last year and visited with you guys and kind of presented some options. And I know that, are you Ivan by chance?
Ivan,
Okay.
you can come up here and sit in case you wanna speak.
We'll let Ivan chime in, but
Yeah.
just to start the discussion, I guess, you know, this USDA Wildlife Services program that I'm with, you know, we're a federal agency. We provide wildlife damage management assistance. Historically, our program, you know, receives federal funding, state funding, and, you know, cooperative funding is how we've typically been funded in the western US. In Nebraska, we lost state funding back in 87, 88 timeframe, and I'll touch base on that a little bit more here in a minute. But over the last, 40 years, we've been trying to do this county funding model, and this county funding model just doesn't work all that well. I can elaborate more on that, but Ken, you
Yeah.
start the discussion here.
Yeah, this stemmed from a phone call I got from Mr. Rush. And I know this is something that we've talked about at length, about all of this sort of thing. I believe some of you visited with other commissioners about putting some kind of consortium together to fund it, but nothing has happened yet. It was brought to home to me when I visited with Ivan. And the fact that he was, he's losing lambs to coyotes. And he asked, what can we do? I didn't have an answer for him. I got a hold of Jason, and I think all of you got a copy of his opinion on it, that we are obligated, at $1,000 per incident,
Yeah.
to try to help out. I passed on some information to Ivan on maybe some help or people that might be able to help him with it. But my reason for putting it on the agenda is that, again, we've talked and we've talked and we've talked and we've talked. And I don't know how many more Ivan Rushes are out there that are having issues that need something done.
Yep.
And I think it was either you or Ivan that said, well, all it takes is 20 of those folks to,
$20,000, yeah.
and I don't know whether that would happen or whether that would, but I think it's something that we need to talk about. I think we need to make some decisions on how we're going to handle it. We either move forward with the consortium with other counties. I don't know where that's at this
You
point.
ought to know that, shouldn't you? I mean, you're involved in that.
Well, I've got a meeting coming up with Cheyenne County. Cheyenne County has reached out recently, and that meeting is in August. They wanted to get through their Board of Equalization process. So we're going back to Cheyenne County. We have an agreement with Morrow County that it was a carryover agreement. I need to go back and talk with Morrow County. We've done some work in Kimball County. We've got individuals there that are needing help, but at the county level, it seems to be 1 minute a county's in, the next minute a county's out. 1 minute a county's in, 1 minute a county is out, and this does nothing for my program. But there's no long-term stability. And when you don't have long-term stability, then you can't keep people in a position.
Well, I think the instability started a lot higher up than it did in any of these boardrooms. When the state and the federal backed out of the funding, it pretty well threw a wrench into stuff. There's been, the state took the funding way back in 87, 88, but for the last 40 years, it's been a partnership with the federal government and with the county government is how we've been working. But the federal's out, aren't they?
No.
You guys are back in.
Yeah, the federal government's been contributing funding.
He pays yours.
Yes.
Salary.
Yeah, the federal government's contributing funding this whole time. I mean, we've been in existence since the 30s.
So a couple things I would tell you. At some of our NACO meetings,
Yep.
Our regional meetings, we have discussed it, and there has been little to no cooperation amongst people. I think, from our standpoint, we were willing to try and pay a fair share. We have the largest population. But most of the other ones were not interested in continuing our old agreement. So now some of them have told us about some of their ways of doing things, and I guess you tell me, you said you worked with Morrow County, so what happened there?
We still have an agreement with Morrow County, and the previous administration, they had set up a 5-year agreement. I will not do 5-year agreements with counties just because we can't budget for a 5-year period. No different than you guys can't set a budget for a 5-year period, and so this 5-year agreement process doesn't work. But
Are you saying that they're paying you an annual amount?
what we got, no
Flat
matter
rate?
what county it is, it's a cost reimbursable agreement is what it is. So it's a cost reimbursable cooperative service agreement. If we get a request for assistance in XYZ county, we go provide assistance, and then there's a quarterly bill that comes after the fact, and we get reimbursed for any services that we provide. And that's how it works, I guess, so like in Ivan's case, if we did have an agreement in Scotts Bluff County, we would be able to help him solve his problem.
Right.
And then, the county that the billing would come out, quarterly bills. And so-
Right now, so let me just ask, let's assume on his specifically,
Yep,
let's call it a $4,000 bill.
yep.
And so my understanding is, we, the county, would be, responsible up to $1,000, and, then he would pay the other $3,000.
That's the way the
That's
statute is written.
generally the way
That's what I
it happens.
Yep.
And so, if it's less than 2,000, then we would be paying 50%. So let's say it's a $1,500 bill total, he would pay $750, we would pay $750. That's the way I read it.
Yeah, the statute, it's 23-35801, says each county shall match funds supplied by any resident individual or group of individuals, either living within the county or owning property therein, up to a maximum of $1,000 annually. And then later it talks about that the portion supplied by each county shall not exceed 50% of the total animal damage control program cost. So yeah, I think if it's less than, we're essentially matching up to $1,000.
Right. But it would be, the homeowner would still have to pay 50% up to that amount. So 50% or, and then more if it goes up to 4,000, they would be responsible.
The way
for
most
three.
counties do it, I guess, is most counties just enter into a cooperative service agreement, and it talks about here that the counties can provide additional funds if they so choose.
Right.
And so, you know, some counties in Nebraska fund maybe 300 hours of a position. Some counties might fund an entire position. We've got 2 counties in Nebraska that want their own person assigned to those 2 counties. And those 2 agreements are like to the tune of like $72,000 apiece for those 2 counties, $144,000. And so it's clear across the board. But what, at the end of the day, what goes wrong is that if you've got, you know, one county providing 300 hours, one county 400 hours, one county 500 hours, it just creates so much level of uncertainty, you know, on this structure. And then the telephone rings 12 months out of the year. The telephone just doesn't ring for the 2 months, and we go work for 300 hours, and then we quit working for the other 10 months. It doesn't work that way. So.
Now, as far as I know, since we haven't had our group of counties, as far as I know, we've never been asked to pay for anything. Would that be true?
You
I
haven't.
haven't seen any.
Yeah, you haven't since I got here. I got here in November of 2024. Is when I got here, and so there's
So,
been no.
I believe that since the counties have disbanded, so to speak, as far as I know, we've never had any request for us to participate or pay for those services, as far as I know.
Do you remember what our contract was? How much?
In 2024, it would have been. Almost $12,000 in 2024 is what the cooperative service agreement was for.
Okay, let me ask you a question, right?
Yep.
Just for clarification. If we have a contract with you for $12,000 or whatever the number is, how does it work when a consumer needs your services?
Yep.
What is the obligation of the county if we have a contract with
Yep.
USDA?
If we've got a cooperative service agreement in place, we have livestock producers like Ivan that call us directly and say, we've got coyotes killing livestock, can you help? And if it's a participating county, we're able to go help right away. And we help them solve the problem, and then the county gets a bill for those hours that we worked.
That's on top of the $12,000 or no?
No, it's part of this cooperative service.
Okay,
agreement. So
I
if
got
we
you.
have a cooperative service agreement with the county, we do the work, the county gets a bill. It's part of this annual agreement. And then, you know, the livestock producer, it could be anything. It could be predators, it could be beaver, it could be prairie dogs, it could be anything wildlife.
But you're saying that the county gets a bill?
Yes. Yeah,
All right.
quarterly bill.
And that is over and above what our contract is,
Nope.
that's
Nope.
not?
No.
So what do we do with the bill?
You pay the bill, yeah, it's a cost reimbursable agreement, and so if we provide service, you
Okay.
get a bill. If we don't, if the telephone doesn't ring, you don't get a bill.
So there's no upfront bill,
No,
what we,
no,
no upfront contract
Correct,
prior
correct.
like we had.
Yep, we enter into this agreement, and it's an estimated financial plan.
Okay.
We could spend up to that amount, we can't exceed that amount, we could spend up to that amount. If we get more requests than that amount would cover, then we would have to come back and do an agreement, an amendment to the agreement.
Would you bill both parties then?
No. Normally what the counties do is the counties they don't look at this 50% match. They just, the counties say, here's this amount of money to provide wildlife damage management assistance to residents in our county, is what all the other counties in Nebraska do that we work for.
So how do you collect the other 50%?
There is.
Not you, how do we do it?
I guess I would recommend not collecting the 50%. These guys are taxpayers, and so they're already paying taxes to the county. And so I would recommend that you just, if you choose to enter into a cooperative service agreement, the county enters into the agreement, and that's a benefit to the county residents, you know, for the assistance that we
So
provide.
there's no additional cost over and above whatever number that we come up with, if in fact that ever happens.
Yep.
I
Yep.
think that was the confusion before.
Yep.
Well, there
It was
would be
different
additional
before.
cost if it goes over $12,000. Then there would be additional cost.
We would have to amend the agreement, yeah.
Right.
I mean, whatever the number would be.
Now, again, I would suggest we've never, ever, okay. So you're saying that we didn't even get a bill, I thought we paid that 12,000. And we were all saying, well, if technically we could
We paid it prior.
be billed $1,000 each time someone went out to treat their prairie dogs, then 12,000 would be inexpensive.
But
And
is-
I thought we paid it. I thought we had been paying that,
Well,
and
we did 24.
Yeah,
The last time we paid was 24.
yeah. That's the last agreement we had was 2024.
That's the last agreement.
Yeah,
So
so that
we
would have
did
been
pay the
July
last.
1st of 2024 through June 30th of 2025.
okay, so I'm gonna ask again.
Now, I heard you,
If you didn't get any calls, we would never pay the 12,000, is that what
Correct.
you're saying?
Correct, yeah.
Well, I don't believe that's what I remember.
now you mentioned Goshen County a minute ago. Are you dealing with Goshen County on anything as well?
Well, that's in Wyoming, and
I know
we
that.
only, our program covers Nebraska. But we do
realize-
have a wildlife services program in Wyoming,
But
and they
you're,
do,
but you're federal, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So you go all over. Now, what I'd heard, and I don't know what I read it somewhere, that didn't Goshen County take a, what is it, well, they're trapping and shooting, I mean, they have a bounty program, right? Didn't they go to a bounty program up
I
there?
think I saw that in the news,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I think they went to a bounty program, so they're getting people to, everybody's hunting them. So everybody's hunting them, they're got $20 or $25 a head on those coyotes. They bring it in, I think, I don't know what that could cost, I don't think, I
I-
doubt that they could bring 1,000 coyotes.
As a
in
wildlife biologist, I will recommend that you don't even consider bounties. Bounties are a joke, to be honest with you. If I lived in whatever county borders, let's say it's Cheyenne County.
They're gonna bring them to you.
I could go get coyotes in Cheyenne County, and I could bring them to you and say, give me $25 a coyote of Scotts Bluff County money.
That was the part I didn't,
Yeah.
well, that's why I'm asking,
Yeah.
because I'd heard that Goshen County did this, and I'm wondering how they police that.
Yeah,
because-
I don't know what, some of these counties, bounty programs have been tried for decades, eons, years. And I don't know why
Unless everybody does it.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody does it. There's not many states in the country that do it. I don't know if it was Wyoming or it was Utah. I think the article I read was Utah, and the justification is that they were trying to increase mule deer, fawn recruitment to the population.
That's what I read, it was Utah.
And it was kind of a targeted approach, and what drives coyote populations is that when you have high fur prices, you get more fur harvest. And because we don't have a high fur market right now, we don't have any coyote harvest really to speak of. And so, in these years where we have no fur harvest, livestock producers like Ivan, and there's a lot of them in
Well,
Nebraska.
Last year wasn't a good year for fur harvest. We
No.
never had any snow.
No.
They didn't get cold enough to really,
Yep.
produce that fur.
Yep. So yeah, that complicates the issue as well. But from another aspect, to solve like wildlife damage management, we're not out there trying to kill every coyote in the state of Nebraska. We're trying to manage specific problems is what we're trying to do. And so, this thought process of recreational fur harvesting isn't going to solve problems like Ivan's. Agricultural related incidents, you need to address those specifically, site specifically. I mean, the recreational fur harvest would be in the winter months primarily. These guys calve and lamb and obviously the spring, and there is really no recreational opportunity. But the bounties, there would be countless articles I could provide you, studies I could provide you that would say that bounties would be a really bad idea. so.
Well, you know, I've seen them do it in Goshen County earlier, it's been 2 or 3 years ago, but what they do is they have like a tournament, they have those
Sure.
guys come out and they
Yep.
set up a day and they all go out, I mean, they're all over the county that day, I mean,
Yep.
they're hunting all over.
Yeah, but the problem is the coyotes that you kill today aren't gonna help Ivan in the spring of next year with calving and lambing, and so it's, you know, with wildlife damage management, we're getting kinda confused here on, you know, recreational fur hunting and, you know, and that type of thing. Wildlife damage management is managing specific problems. It's not out there trying to kill a bunch of coyotes just to kill a bunch of coyotes. That's not what, you know, we're talking about. So this particular program, it's managing problems. It's protecting agriculture, it's protecting natural resources, human health and safety, and property are the 4 categories that we're trying to protect. And so it could be raccoons that get into stored feed. It could be European starlings at a feedlot that's getting into cattle feed, passing on disease to cows. It could be skunk rabies. It could be, the list just goes on and on. I mean, when the telephone rings, you never know what the request for assistance is gonna be. And so it's more than just predator control. There's a long list of issues that we deal with, you know, with regard to birds and mammals. Prairie dogs is obviously another one. You know, that's a huge problem.
Those are really getting bad right
Yeah,
now.
it's a
I've
huge
never seen
problem.
them so bad.
Yep.
What are they again?
Prairie dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just a huge
Wow.
problem in Nebraska. I think that's what some of this discussion in the Panhandle is kind of a driving factor. I know Cheyenne County, that's what I think generated the call is because of prairie dog related issues, but,
Wasn't it, which county was it that was talking to us at the NACO meeting and
Is it Dawes County?
Sheridan?
Sheridan or
Maybe
Dawes?
Sheridan
Sure,
that
okay.
has some kind of a local program?
oh yeah, Sheridan County and Box Butte County, they implemented what's called a prairie dog management plan.
Yeah,
And the way they address their prairie dogs, it kind of sets up a framework that would be similar to like a weed board type deal where if you have an individual landowner that will not address the prairie dog problem, and if the prairie dog problem is now impacting his neighboring landowner, then the county can do force control. They can implement, you know, to remove prairie dogs, to create a buffer so they don't spill over onto the neighboring property.
right.
And then they assess a tax lien. So that's how they,
Where the problem.
yeah, that's how they get reimbursed.
And that's a little more definable in prairie dogs, but not so much in this case.
Correct, yep. Yeah, the reason they do it in prairie dogs is just because there is nothing in state statute that would force somebody to do prairie dog control, but,
The,
wasn't there
well, back when we did the agreement,
yep,
I think we thought that $12,000 was kind of capped, because we all said at that time, well, this is a no-brainer. We could easily have 12 landowners come in and want us to reimburse them $1,000, and that we could have quite a few more than that. And so having a price, which I thought was locked in, of $12,000, would, it seemed to be a no-brainer that $12,000 was a inexpensive way to guarantee coverage, so to speak. And, so wasn't remembering it the same way that you're describing it at this point, but, we may, well, I guess I'm interested in doing something to help Mr. Rush out
Absolutely.
as soon as possible, and then maybe us looking at it further, as the group plan, and whether or not, what kind of an agreement did we call that?
it's just a cooperative service agreement that we have,
Cooperative
yeah,
service agreement.
cooperative service agreement that, federal agencies utilize when they're entering into an agreement with a,
And I would have assumed that we would have had several, landowners asking us to do things with prairie dogs. But as far as I know, we haven't dealt with any. Does anyone know of anyone?
No.
I bet it's because nobody knows.
well, what they're doing
Well,
is
that
a lot of
too.
these
At
people
this
are, they're not even
They're doing
coming
their
to
own.
you. Yeah, they're paying for it because they don't wanna stand up here and talk to you about it.
a little bit, and, you
Yeah.
know, prairie dogs is, again, a little more, this is my land and I'm gonna treat my stuff. It's a little different when coyotes come from miles around.
Yep.
And so it's a little bit different
Yep.
situation.
Ivan, you had somebody visit with you about taking care of your problem. Did they give you any kind of numbers of what they were gonna charge? And I won't mention any names, I know who they are, but,
The gentleman that you had call, he basically said two things. One, he wouldn't charge anything, but he didn't think I had enough land and enough opportunity for him and his son to come in and help out. So he said he wouldn't be able to help.
really,
But
okay?
if he would, why, he said it would be a sport for him, but he just didn't think the situation I described, and he looked it up on the map, and said he just didn't think that he would be of any benefit.
Are these lambs show lambs or market lambs?
Well, they're market lambs,
Okay.
but, as you know, I raise show lambs, and
Right.
it's past the season for selecting show lamb. So those that didn't go for show lambs, they're market lambs.
Okay.
They're still your profit, whether they're
Yes,
market or
true.
show.
And as you know.
Yeah. Doesn't
the
matter.
Market's kinda followed the beef market, and so they're worth a lot more now than they were, and plus as a animal husbandry person, just seeing them laying there half-eaten is a lot of fun, plus
Yeah.
it costs money.
Well, I certainly believe that you guys have different techniques and expertise as to how to deal with coyotes other than just shooting them with a rifle, which most people are gonna be thinking about. The sport people are thinking about.
Yep.
And, yeah, cause I have probably about 10 friends that'd be interested. But, again, I know they're used to hunting in a 5 mile by 5 mile radius and calling them in and some things.
Plus-
And that's different in your situation here.
Plus, when it's 107 degrees outside, it isn't any fun.
Yeah, they're gonna be less likely to wanna do it.
Yeah, keep in mind, you know, from a recreational standpoint, there's recreational hunting and then there's wildlife damage management. And what this guy here needs is wildlife damage management. He doesn't need somebody coming in to just.
Well, let me ask you this, are you willing to help out Mr. Rush?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay?
Yep, yep.
And you're willing to help him, and then the question's gonna be, where are you gonna send the bill, to us?
I would recommend that you consider, you know, entering into this cooperative service agreement. You guys have had it in the past, and, you know, I just, it's mind-boggling to me that Nebraska is one of the leading agricultural states in the country, and we aren't addressing wildlife damage management the way we should be. And it even goes back to the state funding issue where, like I mentioned in the beginning, this program historically, it was federal funding, state funding, and cooperator funding.
The state moved away, huh?
Well, and ironically, this last legislative session, we have had several cooperator stakeholder meetings over the last year, and the driving factor is the damage to agriculture that's happening, and livestock producers in western Nebraska were kind of the driving force of these discussions, and we had state senator involvement. We got a legislative bill introduced, and it was one senator, then it was 2, then it was 5, then it was 11. And it was a standalone legislative bill initially, and then they rolled it into the appropriations bill, and it passed.
Good.
So the state, the intent of the state legislature is to start contributing money to what they call their Animal Damage Control Fund. That fund was established probably back in the 50s, maybe 40s, 50s, and, you know, they were contributing money to that fund up until the late 80s. And I don't know what transpired in the late 80s, if it was a financial crisis here in Nebraska or what, but the state, you know, took the money away, and, you know, they haven't been participating. And I guess, you know, as you guys as stakeholders, I would recommend that you inform your senators, you know, what wildlife damage management means to these ag producers. And that's how we got this ball rolling, is because of our cooperator and stakeholder base. And we got the legislative support, and they're gonna hopefully start contributing money to this program. And, you know, typically what happens is you have kind of a a federal state program with funding levels up here, and then the cooperator funding is down here. And so essentially it could mean that, you know, these counties, you know, could contribute less, and we could get away from this county model, and all Nebraska residents could get wildlife damage management assistance, because we manage the deer population, we manage the walleye population, we need to provide wildlife damage management assistance, and so that's where this whole process is going, in a nutshell. But in the interim, we're still dealing with these county cooperative service agreements in the interim, and so we'll see. Like I mentioned, I'll be going back to Cheyenne County in August. There was some NACO meeting in Scotts Bluff here maybe a month ago, correct? There was some, maybe it wasn't a NACO meeting.
Bridgeport, you know, we have a lot of them in Bridgeport.
You were at you were
That was
one year before.
Yeah, I
You-
was the one in 2025.
Yeah,
But
you were there then.
the Cheyenne County Commissioner said that he was coming to a meeting in Scotts Bluff, and he said that he was gonna talk to you guys about, did that meeting not happen? I don't know.
That was an IRMA meeting.
It may have been, yeah.
Okay.
Was that
some
Phil
other-
Sanders? He probably
Yes.
talked to Ken about that at one of your
Yeah,
other
it was
meetings.
Phil, yeah.
Pardon me? No?
Talk to you.
No.
Phil, he mentioned that he was going to talk to these Panhandle counties.
I haven't talked to anybody.
Historically, you know, it was Cheyenne, Banner, Morrow, Kimball, and Scotts Bluff counties, those 5 counties.
I
were-
think he was at Panhandle Public Health
Is that what it was?
not too long ago,
Okay.
but he and I did not talk about
Okay.
that.
Must not have had time, apparently, but,
I do have a question for
Yep.
you if you're done with your
Yep.
presentation.
Yep.
You're aware that you still have a shipping container out at our shop?
Yes.
Has anybody looked inside that since 2004?
no.
Would be nice if somebody would, because we may have a high school experiment going on in there.
Well, it's padlocked. I checked it
But
today.
I know, but that stuff can do all sorts of things if nobody deals with it for a while. It can oxidize and crawl out of those barrels.
What's in there that's gonna
Should
crawl?
be some poison. in
No,
it.
no, none of that, none of the control methods, none of the
That's in
sensitive.
it? You're sure of that?
Yeah, yeah, none of the
Okay.
sensitive
That's what we were
stuff's-
concerned
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
When
all
I
it
talked
is
to
is,
Steve Baird about it the other
yeah,
day.
it's just traps. It's, you know,
Okay, okay, that's
traps.
all
and-
you have,
yeah,
that's fine,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's nothing that's gonna blow up or,
Well,
Yep.
just so we didn't get something to
yep.
So,
blow them up on us.
oops, sorry. So what I'm trying to figure out is what can we do for Mr. Rush today? What kind of a plan can we put in place
Well-
so we can start to help him immediately?
Yeah. What's your guys' thoughts on this cooperative service agreement? Are we gonna make a motion to approve
We
an
can't do
agreement
it
or?
tonight.
Can't do it tonight.
No, it's not on the
I
thing
don't
to do
think-
that, but
What?
what's on?
It is a line item. My name's on
yes,
the
yeah.
agenda.
Oh, it is on.
Yeah, it
the-
is,
you-
yeah.
Okay,
That's
it
why
is
it
on
my
the-
says
agenda?
consider and discuss.
Yeah,
No, we can do something about it.
Okay, I didn't read it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I-
we don't have numbers in front of us right now, but what I'm saying is we need some feedback. If you want me to go back and get a cooperative service agreement pulled together, and we get
Well-
Scotts Bluff County back into the program, then,
I would make a motion that we would move forward with this and that you would bring us a, contract,
okay,
a proposal to be approved at a later meeting.
okay? And how many hours are we thinking?
That's what, yeah, how
Well,
much money are we
I
talking
think you should
about?
bring us a proposal that we can, once we see what your rates and everything, we don't have an idea what to do. Let's look at a proposal that we can make it into a variable contract, and then at the next meeting, we can.
Like I
Yeah.
said, I've got some counties that are contributing 300 hours, and I've got some counties that are contributing 2,087 hours. There's 2,087 hours in a year. So I need some guidance from you. I'll bring you a
Okay,
proposal for
So, what do you,
2,087.
how are, let's say, let's put a not to exceed tonight, then.
Okay.
And then you can start working for him tomorrow, as far as I'd be
Well,
concerned.
if we've used the number of 12,000, throwing that out here.
Okay, that'd be
I
fine
don't-
to start.
And if we said, and that's as billed, it doesn't mean we would have to spend
No,
12.
but then you could bring us a proposal that we could define, but we could allow a $5,000 lid or a $12,000 lid tonight, and then we can figure on whatever number we're gonna go with.
So Kelly's got a question over
I've pulled up an old one
Uh-huh,
for you to see
yeah,
How much it was.
for,
and I thought that one said 10 something.
but that was from 22 to 23. We went from 87 up to 10,005. But like, that ended June of 23.
Okay,
That's just something I could put my hands on right now for you.
Okay, Ryan, what this is going to do, if Mr. Rush has an issue, he can call you guys, you will take care of it.
Yep.
We don't have to call around and get a whatever kind of answers, and that's very disappointing, and I know the people, and I'm going to visit with them about it.
Well, he
'Cause-
was nice, he was nice and
Yeah.
wanted to help, but just didn't feel like the situation was that.
Well, but, again, you're not any better off today than you were when we talked 2 days ago.
These guys are game biologists and they
Yeah.
understand and they know more about the coyote than I ever will.
So, whatever it is we're doing here, you're willing to help Mr. Rush tomorrow. He's losing lambs. I mean, that's,
Do you have a hunter out here to do that or a trapper out
Well,
here?
we've got one guy in Sydney and one guy in Gordon.
Okay.
That would be able to cover it in the interim, but, long range, what we need to be thinking about here is that, if it's only Scotts Bluff County, and if you're only talking about $10,000 to $12,000,
Well, we're only doing it till you bring us a contract. I just wanna give
Yep.
you some sort of an authority to get started for him
Yep.
immediately.
Well, yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
working for him, I'll probably have to enter into an agreement for him specifically, because I don't have a signed agreement with you guys in order
Yeah.
to do this work.
that's right.
There is no legal framework for me to say, okay, on your word, I'm gonna bring you a
Yeah.
bill, and I'm gonna go work for him tomorrow. So we can't
And
operate that way.
we want verification that you have insurance and all the things that you're.
We're a federal
covering.
agency, we don't have insurance.
What's that?
We don't have insurance, we're a
But
federal
you will
agency.
cover any problem.
Yeah,
I want
it's
something.
through the
to
Fort
fill out.
Tort Claims Act.
What you cover.
I think Jason had a comment.
You have-
Well, it would just be if, in terms of setting it out in a, cooperative services agreement, with what he's saying in terms of, X amount, up to X amount on a billed-only basis, but if there are no calls, there's no bill. I could, if authorized, could work with Ryan to put that together and have it back at the next meeting, and I suppose.
But you would have to pay for everything up until the next meeting is what you're saying.
Could
So
our-
you want him out there right
Could our
now.
motion include the fact to be prepared by you and signed by me at the next meeting, or signed by me even
Let's
I
do
mean,
it.
tomorrow or the
what we
next?
normally do
But
is,
until that happens, we are still obligated $4,000.
Well.
So that's a different process. I mean,
Okay.
if
Yeah,
Mr.
absolutely.
Rush wanted to, bring a claim to the county board, we've got the state statute saying that we're essentially gonna match it up to $1,000.
Okay.
And so he would be able to bring that to the board.
But that's different than this 12,000.
That's different than
Right,
this
right.
agreement. That
Yeah,
would be if you wanted something
my
for
my
this.
concern's the same as yours. I think Mr. Rush has an issue
He
that
does.
needs to be
We
handled.
need to get that
I'd
taken
like
care of.
for it to be able to move forward.
But is there, like,
All right, what was your motion?
well, it was a motion to, have it not to exceed $12,000, but I wanted, let's see if there's any way I can include this thing that Mark could sign this, if it's prepared by the middle of this week, that Mark could sign the agreement that Jason put together.
I'll second it.
Is that
I think it's-
okay though?
Yes.
I don't know how clear it is.
I'm
It is with
asking
me.
Gotta
Jason.
have Jason about him, is that all right?
Well, I guess it would be what you're asking, you're talking about something separate from a cooperative services agreement?
No, he's
No,
talking about a
that,
cooperative
a
service
cooperative
agreement.
service
Cooperative
agreement.
service agreement.
it'd be this right here, basically. We have
Approved
the-
tonight up
Yeah,
to
but-
$12,000?
Up to 12,000, and you prepare it, and I'll
That's,
be authorized to come and
Well,
sign
We're,
it.
we're
That's
going to
where you were-
authorize
We're
it with
gonna let
this
him-
motion for you to sign that.
That's what I'd say, that's what I'd
Yeah.
like to see if we can, so.
You
is
see
that-
any problem
is
with that?
No.
And that we put that together as quickly as possible and get it to him?
Yes.
That way we can.
And then in the meantime, knowing that that's gonna happen, hopefully you can start moving forward with how you can
To
help
help Ivan out here.
Yep,
Okay,
If you'll leave some information with Jason and he can contact you when he has the agreement in hand, cause you're gonna need to sign that probably electronically somehow.
Well, we
I'll
could-
copy
we-
you both
We
on
could
it.
use this one up here.
yep.
he'll use that as his,
well,
as his,
baseline.
as his
He-
template.
I've got the template, so
I was
I'll,
gonna say, he's
yeah.
got it.
Yeah,
We
I've
get
got-
this from
I've
that.
got
So
everything
you
I need,
two
yep.
need to just get
Yep.
together, make sure that you're both happy, and then if you're happy, then we'll be happy.
So,
That's all.
So,
As long as
for
you're-
clarification, where this, motion is setting, a cooperative
Okay.
service agreement, adopted or drafted by Jason and to
Capped
Up
at
to
up to
$12,000.
$12,000.
Not to exceed at this point.
We're basically authorizing the chairman to
authorizing
sign
him
it.
to put it together, and that when it's ready, that you're authorizing me to go over and sign it
Yep.
at his office.
That's where we're at.
Yeah. We have a
Okay,
motion.
Where's
so
the-
that's what the motion is.
So you got 2-3 hours to drive?
Can we
Yeah,
have
it's
a
about
second?
That helps expedite things, is the way I see it.
A second for
Alright,
that.
so, yeah, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Jason, do you have a business card?
I can
Do you have a
see-
sticky note? For him to have your email address?
And I can get that to him right now.
Okay. You go home and you find it and you email him right away.
How's that vote look, Miss Kelly?
I'm sorry. You have 5 yeses?
Okay, motion's carried. So that'll help us put things together fairly quickly.
Yep.
And then you guys can stay in touch with each other and we'll move
Okay.
as quickly as possible here.
This was on old business.
I just appreciate your dealing with this, and appreciate all you do in many, many ways to benefit all of us. But
Borrow it.
I know this is a fairly small part of your constituents, but it's important to me.
It's an important part.
It is, it is.
You're as important as anybody else, I
That's
know. Trust me.
Alright, thank you.
Very good, thank you guys.
Thanks. Ryan?
Ryan, let me give you.
Thanks for coming down, Ryan, I appreciate you,
I
appreciate you
can
coming.
come back to the next meeting if you prefer me to come back, I'm more than willing to come back.
If we have questions, possibly, but if not, we'll get it signed and move forward.
Okay, very good.
Ryan, where do you live?
McCook.
Oh, in McCook.
Yep.
So you have a ways to go,
Yep.
don't you? Okay. Well, we appreciate you being here.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'll contact you tomorrow.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I'll be driving back home tomorrow. I gotta meet with one of the field guys and I'll be tracking, so,
Okay,
very good.
all right, thank you.
Okay, we do have at least one more item on our general agenda items. Discuss and consider dates for budget hearings. Robert?
Yeah, so actually probably a better term would be budget workshops because we're not ready for hearings. Hearings are gonna be after we have certified values on August 20th. So the intent is, and I just want to make sure that it's the board's intent that what I'm doing, make sure I'm following your instructions. So we have 9 departments that their initial budgets came in when the first draft that they presented to me that are over the target. You know, I think we had set a target for everybody of no more than 1.3% tax ask over last year. We've had a number of departments over, you know, what was it, 26 of them, I think is a number, that have come in at that number or below. So they've done a really good job.
How many are at it and below?
I think it's 20, I can tell you here real quick, hang on.
But there's 9 that have exceeded.
9 right now, and that 9 number might change 1 or 2 because we're still having conversations with some of the officials. 1 second, I can give you the total. So this is the ones out of the general fund. We have 37, and out of the 37, 9 are over.
How much over?
What'd
you say?
Total over, about $2.2 million. Largest being the detention center, which is about $1.4 million over right now.
So
there's-
28 are in compliance or below.
Based on the instructions
How's
of the
the
board.
roads?
Huh?
How's the roads come in? Are they,
Actually met with roads today, and roads came in below their target.
Originally, they were higher, but they got it down.
They were almost $700,000 over budget, and we got it down. As well as facilities, we had facilities over out at the detention center, and we were able to work that down to within the limits. So, too many conversations going on.
I was gonna say.
So it's been really good as far as, you know, the number of departments that have been able to tighten their belts and come in under that, at or under that target. But we've got 9. There may be a couple of those that get resolved between now and when we have a meeting. But what I'm proposing is that we have a budget workshop. And I think with the 9 that we've got, detention would probably take an hour. The others would only take 30 minutes each for the official to come in and meet with the board and talk through ways that they could possibly cut.
I would need to know, am I included in those 9?
You are currently, but
Tell them how much.
yeah, so Kelly's department, the district court is, they're actually, they've worked really hard. I've been talking with Kina and Kelly. They've been working really, really hard on this. They're, instead of being 1.3% over, or at a maximum from last year, they're at 2.42. And I've looked at their expenses that they've cut a lot of expenses. I honestly don't know how they could cut any more money. So it's just one of those things.
But that's what that workshop's gonna allow, is for them to come and
Say, hey, it's-
explain and say, hey, we really need some more, or whatever the case is,
That's
and
right.
why.
That's right. And then hopefully go away from there and saying, no, you need to work on it and cut some more, or yes, we'll make an exception. Yes, from the board. But really start that conversation because I think most of these 9, we may be able to get one, like I said, 1 or 2 more within compliance. I have a meeting with sheriff and chief deputy on Friday. We're gonna be going through the sheriff's budget. And we're real close on that, I think. And we're also gonna be going through the detention center. Unfortunately, Vonnie's been out and is unavailable to participate in that. But I'm looking, maybe do this all in one day on these at a budget workshop, probably 5 hours, and do that, preferably first weekend in August. We could go to the 2nd. We're gonna have certified values on the 20th of August.
You need to certify by the 20th?
As the assessor, I will be certifying the values so that $4.3 billion estimate that I gave the board, we'll be locking whatever that number is, whether it's a little higher or a little lower.
And that'll be by the 20th.
20th.
So we have a regular meeting on the 3rd. So you're looking the 4th or 5th, something like that.
That would work for me.
Okay. I've got Kaplan. That doesn't matter whether I'm here or not, but I've got Kaplan at
You can do it in the afternoon.
5:15 or whatever it is.
I don't know.
Does anyone have a preference between the 4th or the 5th?
The only thing I would say on the 5th, Mr. Harris, is we have a regional governance meeting.
Right.
Is that on
So
Wednesday?
could we think about the 4th? Does anyone have a problem with the 4th?
Oh,
That'd
I
be
do
great.
later on in the afternoon, but that's.
We can do it in the
Hopefully
afternoon.
we'd be done by,
What's that?
When will you be done? We could do it in the afternoon.
No, I don't start until 5 something.
Oh, okay. Well, we could start mid-morning if you wanted to, or
Yeah.
in the
That
morning.
would work better, or,
What did you say?
or do the 5th also.
if we had.
And that would give you enough time to publish, Kelly.
I have an airport board when I go to there.
That's in the morning, right? On the 5th.
On the 4th, you're
And
saying?
your governance is over by 1 or 1 o'clock, so we can still do an afternoon.
1:30, yeah.
We only
I
have
would
to publish
suggest the
once on
afternoon
this,
of the
Kelly,
5th,
twice.
Robert.
Excuse me?
I'd suggest the afternoon of the 5th, if
We
that's
have a-
available.
He just told you it's gonna take 5 hours though. It was
Well,
his
if
guess.
we started at, I told Robert if we were talking 5 hours, maybe we could start at noon, try and have our lunch before we even get here, start at noon, and then give us 5 hours, hopefully, and we'd be done by 5.
So you're saying you picked the 5th?
I'm
Or
okay
the
with
4th.
that. I'm
I
okay
think they were
with either,
saying the 4th.
as far as I know.
What's that?
We were talking about the 4th, correct?
Well,
Well,
yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to leave early if we get too.
But didn't that
I'm
go-
just saying,
when you go?
I can't be here all, for the whole thing.
What is,
Governance is on the 5th. And there's 3 of us that normally go to that.
Why are all 3 going? Do you go to it?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I have been,
Yeah, I didn't know why.
trying to learn.
Yeah, I understand.
And you guys make me go, so.
It's part of your job.
It is, I know, just kidding. So what I'm hearing is it might be noon on Tuesday, August the 4th, for 5 hours, noon to 5.
Okay, again, I'll have to leave early,
Okay.
which
We
is
can
fine.
move
We
it to
might
a
be done,
different day.
we might be
That's
done by
fine.
then
I am
too.
totally agnostic on what day it is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Well, hopefully we would maybe be done. And Jason, let me ask this question, because I know we used to do it at city council all the time. But if we had a situation like that and we got down to 5 o'clock and we needed to say, hey, we're gonna, let's continue this meeting till tomorrow, we would adjourn that meeting, for up to that point and say, and maybe we call it a recess, Mr.
You
Randy.
cannot recess overnight.
Well, we used to.
You
at
used
the
to
city.
until I learned we can't do that.
That's the concern.
Here's
And-
why
and we
can't I
could
say,
We could
And-
establish to the next day and time, and we would reconvene at that time. And I guess, I just need to be sure that we have a legal opinion that says we can.
can I throw out my idea? Why don't I say, and if necessary, we will meet at 3 o'clock on August 5th?
The next day.
To have that next date.
If we
And
need,
just
if we
have it-
don't get it wrapped up as a workshop in the 5 hours that Robert has presented on
Wow.
the 4th.
I like that, and just go ahead and plan it, and then if we don't have the meeting, if nobody shows up, we don't have the meeting, right?
But will you tell them we cannot recess overnight for me, so they believe it?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well,
Yeah.
I am not
we
kidding.
used to, we used
You
to,
used to until I read that we are not to do that.
well, and back when I used to was 25 years ago, so
I bet we weren't
the
supposed
law
to do
may
it
have
then
been
either.
different, but it was
Isn't it-
So
Howard,
what day are you talking about now?
Fourth, that's what you
the
just said.
4th, the 4th at noon.
4th, noon to 5.
And then 2 or 3 o'clock on the 5th if necessary, question mark?
3 to 5.
3 o'clock on the 5th?
Works for me.
I think that'd be fine.
If necessary.
Kelly, isn't it still easier to get forgiveness and permission?
Okay,
Could we
again,
just do it
on the-
right if
on-
we
on
know
the
we have a
4th,
chance?
If we're not done, if we aren't done at 5 o'clock, I have to leave, so
We
I won't be here
understand.
for the
We're
whole
gonna,
thing.
we will plan
Okay.
to stop at 5, and then she's setting up the 5th at 3 o'clock,
That's fine.
If we need it.
if we need it.
And you will have time to publish that.
Nobody cares about that part. I'll make it happen.
Well, I do. I wanna make sure it's done
I
right.
asked you
Well,
what days
we
you were
just want
talking
you to-
about. Friday.
You have time to make it happen is our point.
I think so, but
Okay.
I am in protest hearings all day the next 3 days.
Man, that'll be nice.
What?
So we're gonna start at 12 o'clock on the
4th,
4th, okay.
start at 3 o'clock on the 5th if we need it. All right. I think we got those set. And those
August
are for budget
4th.
workshops, and we believe it to be 9 departments or less.
Correct.
Okay. Sounds good.
August 4, 12.
And I'll send out the invitations to those department heads.
I can't wait.
And copy
know.
us so that we
You'll
all,
know. I'll
so
send
we
the
have
schedule out.
Okay,
We're calling that an invitation.
all right.
Basically, it's 30 minutes per department except for the detention center, and they're gonna require an hour.
Why do we need a half an hour between everybody? Serious. I mean, like me, why do I need a half an hour? I need the money. I've taken everything out I can.
I don't know.
And
I
if
just know
somebody,
how this works, and it takes a long time.
well,
And
we can
that-
say we're allotting a half hour for each, but if they're done sooner, if they're in here 10 minutes early, we can
Yeah.
keep on moving.
And what was your 1.3, not to go above 1.3?
1.3% tax asking.
That's what
over
we
last
voted.
year.
And that's a suggestion, correct?
That's what the board
That's
set
what that
as
was
its
what we
initial
voted on.
target, yes.
As a target.
We voted on it?
We
Yes.
voted on it as a target and said
Okay.
no COLA,
We're
remember?
bobbing our heads, so evidently we did,
Well,
so, I don't remember
We
voting
did
on it.
vote on it, yeah,
What?
we did.
Okay,
Yeah, it
Because he
doesn't
wanted
mean that you
direction.
can't change that.
yeah.
He wanted
That's
to know
your,
what the
that's your
COLA-
guys'
Well,
job.
I understand.
Yeah.
Because our process in the past has been, have them just bring their budget and it doesn't matter what percentage. And so, yes, he asked if he could set some kind of a percentage
Yeah.
and that they come in and just think, It's caused us this time to not think we have to meet with 32 people, but we have to meet with 9.
And we met with 32 like 5 times.
Yeah, I know.
Well, but that was when we decided we were gonna meet with every department.
I was gonna say, that was
we
also the
decided-
board's choice.
What's that?
I said, I don't know where we decided how this works.
We did it, that's the way we did it for quite a
I met
while.
with 3
Yeah.
today, and I got
Yeah.
on really good.
We did it for quite a while, and part of well, in my opinion, the reason was we didn't give them a goal ahead of time
That's right.
as to where to come in at.
And everybody, for the most part, the vast majority have done really well on trimming their budgets and being very responsible.
Okay,
And,
we can do that.
and it is true that we can still change that, but that was the target.
That
for
gives
them to
everybody a
come in.
basis.
So now that so many people have met that, why don't you just change it to, what'd you say, 2.4? So I don't have to come before the board.
Good move.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Kelly's magic number is 2.42.
No, but I mean,
Okay.
seriously, what, you had a,
Okay,
we
can
upped the
let's move-
insurance and all of
I've
that?
gotta get
I know.
going here.
Yeah, let's try and keep going here. So we're up to old business, which is none. We're up to public comments. Board of Commissioners will receive public comments on items discussed at this meeting or suggestions for items of discussion at a future board meeting. Board will not take action on comments presented this date. Anyone here this evening? I think, Randy, you're the only
You don't have any
public
comment?
person right now.
Sheriff? Sheriff?
All right, so we'll say, the record would show there was no one for public comments. The next is board and staff reports with discussion and include legislation in that if you need to. Oh, which side do we start on this time? Ms. Kelly, can we start with you?
I need to start making a list, so I have stuff to tell you. Inventories are due by September 1st, and I've sent out a request. You can see those are rolling in. What do we want to do with that space now that we no longer have a poster? Because
Does it hurt to leave it up there?
it's out of date and not required. So it's wrong, and there's no sense in having it up there.
Okay.
I mean, we could find a way to hang this
Yeah.
on the wall.
You know,
Just-
we've sometimes had those and put them in those plastic
In the
covers
plastic
and put a
sleeves
ring on it.
and the ring?
Hang it back there.
That'd work.
How about that?
Yeah,
Sure.
we've done that before on other stuff at our office, so.
They're just hanging it like on all kind of. I'm worried that, I mean, like, we found out, we've gotta tell people, if you come in this room, you need to make sure all the doors are locked. If you unhook something, you need to let IT be involved, because I had a meeting where there was absolutely no sound to my recorder, because John just found it, somebody had unplugged the cord to this.
Right, well,
He just found that before our
So
meeting
who
today.
are you scolding? Us
yeah,
or?
I
because,
need you guys to tell
well,
the
we'll,
people.
Yeah,
we'll
because
try,
there,
but
there,
how about
there
a-
are
We
other
don't-
how about an email?
committees
We don't see
outside
them
of
when
the.
they have
don't see
meetings.
them.
we
Yeah.
have nothing to do.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't live here.
Right, how about an email?
I need
Uh,
your help in enforcing that this
Why don't you send
remains
out an email
locked.
saying those things, and you can,
Put a sign on the
as
door.
per,
Put a
you
sign
can
on the
say
door.
as per the commissioners, or as per Commissioner Harris, and send it out. But
I wanna,
I agree with Ken that you're talking to people that have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Now,
but
we
you
can
have
help
the
tell.
word.
We can help tell, but
Okay,
I'm encouraging it to be an email. All right. Anything else from you? Okay, going on around, Jason,
Nothing additional at this time.
You had nothing.
Mark, I see you back there.
additional.
Okay, anyone else back that way? All right, Robert?
Just a couple of things. Budget meetings, I've been meeting with the officials and still have some meetings. Had 5, we talked about 5 different, departments today. And actually all of those are within the request of the board. Have a couple more meetings on Friday. And I'll work on getting the scheduling done for the meeting that we just talked about for the workshop. Also, from an assessor perspective, just to give you an update, I sent something out, I think, today. But last year, we had a total of 195 hearings. We had many more protests filed than that. We had about 440-ish. And this year, as of right now, we have 184 hearings, either completed or to be completed, and less than 300 total filed. So that may actually, the number of hearings may still drop off a few more because we were working some of these things out. But we're in a really good spot even compared to last year. So I think Tuesday will be a lighter day for protests. Wednesday and Thursday are pretty packed right now. And that's all I have.
That is what we need. We have that space. Robert's office was able to knock off the 9 o'clock and 9:15 appointments. And then we have a big gap, and we're gonna, I don't know where we stood. We were gonna try and move that 11:30 appointment. Cause we have this big hour gap, an appointment and then lunchtime. To see if we could move him up to
That would be
near the
good.
other ones, or down in the afternoon where we have another
Okay.
spot.
Yep.
But,
And I have
other
lunch
th-
coming in at 11:30 tomorrow.
and yeah, if we could get that one bumped up or
So,
down, we'd
So-
be,
what time can we start tomorrow?
Yeah, that's what I wanna know is, we're scheduled to start at 9. Do we need to start at 9?
Doesn't sound like it.
9:30
Well,
sounds like
I
right.
know we don't for that, but legally, do
Yeah.
we need to start at 9?
well, why don't we pick a time to make sure you guys are all here and you can do your spiel before the first one?
Right.
I don't know,
What time?
9:20?
What time?
I'm asking
say
Jason
Our
if that's
first one is
okay.
Did we
9:30.
publish a time
I just
between
was
9
coming
and
9.
6?
I do too.
What time did you publish?
We published for 9 o'clock, and then, they turned into no hearing needed, so
Why would we sit here for an hour and a half? That doesn't make any sense.
our first one is at 9:30,
Because we
so that's a half an
advertise
hour.
that way.
Okay.
But we need everybody here so we can start on time, is what I'm getting at.
Started it tonight, and then we'll just let it run over like we always do.
I suggest just start at 9 like we always do.
And then we
What
may
will
have
we
a big
do?
break
I'll have
after.
coffee made for everybody.
So by the time
was
you
gonna
get
ask
your
you that.
opening stuff going on, it's 9:15.
Yeah, but we get here at
Look ahead at these.
I guess we could start at
Yeah, you can go ahead and look ahead on them.
Yeah, I think
We
that
always
helps
come
a
a half
lot.
hour early, so if
Yeah.
we come at 9,
Yeah.
we're all right.
Yeah, because we don't get that list till tomorrow morning, and
Right.
then we can start looking at those.
That's helpful.
Well, I would suggest we come at 9,
And then we get our computers opened up and be ready by 9:30.
and then we'll have some time in there to get our things going.
That'll work.
Call Amanda and have her help you,
Yeah,
and John.
she's had to help me the last couple times.
Well, you guys only do this once a year. so-
Right.
But maybe I'll remember. Okay, so okay, are you done, Robert, with
Yes,
your thing?
yes, sir, I'm done.
Okay, Robert and I met with, with Steve Baird, Steve Davidson, and Kurt Richter today with 3 budget hearings. Steve Baird and Steve Davidson both were, they met the guidelines, they met their numbers. Kurt Richter still has a little bit of work to do, but it's doable, so we're coming. So those are things we won't have to meet here with, right?
That's right.
Okay, is that it?
That's all I have today, yeah.
Mike?
I just have an extension board meeting tomorrow night.
Okay. I don't think I have any, of my meetings, but of course, as we all know, we have 3 days of protests. Some of you have evening meetings, which I appreciate that. Robert, one of the things that I wanted to mention about the protest, process is that I know last year and this year that when these folks bring to us or bring to you or bring to whoever their comparable information and any other, some of them write letters, some of them
That's right.
do whatever, and that's provided to us
That's right.
in the digital format. And I would only say this, and that's that, as Matt mentioned, that we get that list tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, basically.
There's no way you
Okay.
can do all that.
And then my point is that, by getting it that way, when we've had a really nice schedule where we've had breaks, and we could go in and look at that stuff
Well,
during
we
some
could
of our
get you
breaks.
this to you earlier, but it's ever changing,
I-
so
yeah,
I'm
I
trying not to
realize that.
confuse you guys is the
I-
only thing. Yeah, I could've
Right,
given it
but
to you
my-
last week to look at them.
So my point only is that, back in the days when we had our big 3-ring notebooks here, and we had all
It was
of
all
that in
there.
hard copies, and we were thumbing through each one, in my opinion, we looked at that information closer than what we're doing now. And I don't need an answer to all that, I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility, and how can we, I won't be here, but
Right.
how can we make that better for people in the future?
Yeah, one-
Where they can see it easily and quickly, because for me, by the time I get logged in there and get it pulled up the way I need to,
You're talking
they're
about
done.
it.
They're
When you're
done
talking
talking.
about it, you can't go back and
Right.
look at
And
stuff.
Well,
so
what
I
we
just-
can do, I've been trying to be fairly consistent about sending updates out, as far as our statistics. The summary of, these are how many hearings we've completed, how many we need to complete. But part of that the whole workbook has, here's all of them in date and time order that are scheduled as of that moment. It could be
I don't want
changed.
you getting that information from your office, that comes from my office, and I can send it to you daily.
Okay, perfect.
Well, if you send it out, then that helps us, and then that's that list of, date and time order that
With the
spreadsheet's
parcel
made in.
number, and you
Right.
could, at your leisure, well
Go
in
through
advance,
there.
go in and look at all of them and make notes and do
I don't know
whatever
how
you
you
wanna do.
remember what we could do, we could thumb through that, like he said. You could be talking to that person and you could, if you come up with a question, you could thumb back into that and look at that,
Well,
verify it. I agree with
I
you.
just throw it out that we haven't been able to look at that stuff as thoroughly as what we used to, and I just throw it out. Okay,
Okay.
that's all I have. Ken?
I don't have any meetings, all mine were canceled for July because of the protests, so they'll start up. I did receive a phone call from one of our protesters. I didn't call him back. Maybe you talked to him, Mr. Chima.
Yes, I've talked to him several
I
times.
talked to him today.
I didn't return his call, I haven't had time.
Yeah.
He is on our, schedule tomorrow, but, he won't be presenting his protest because he missed the deadline.
That's right.
And,
The
but
board
he
really
still
has
wants to.
no option. I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, the board has no
I
option.
don't,
but to
I don't know
dismiss
what there
this.
is to talk about with him, other than the fact that we're not
I
gonna
think
talk
he
to him.
wants his,
There isn't anything to talk about, but I am still required to put it before you guys.
Right.
That's fine.
So we
And-
just marked a time for you to talk about it since
And-
it's that big.
He wants to be sure that, he gets to be heard about what his concern was and why it didn't get filed. And then I think he has an intent of possibly taking it on up. And so Jason, I don't know what you would suggest for us to do, but I think he may have a thought process of somehow protesting that on up the county court, district court, somewhere up the line.
You know, I think though, for the purposes of the hearing that's coming up, I think the issue for the board is whether or not the protest was timely filed.
Right.
And if it wasn't, then the board doesn't have jurisdiction to take
Well,
action.
it's a moot point. There's
Well,
nothing
but
to
he
he's
would be
accusing
able
Robert
to-
of holding his papers and he didn't have his papers to file them, is what
He
his
would be able to
complaint is.
present information as to whether, in his opinion, it was timely filed, and like, you could get that information and make a decision as to whether or not he met the statutory deadline.
Right, and I think for some reason he wants that on record, so to speak. And so we may let him talk some, but I think from what all of you guys have said to me is that, yeah, he missed the deadline and he won't be able to to do his protest this time. So, and normally he has 30 or 40 of them. So, just information. But that's what I'm familiar with of the deal. Matt?
I don't have anything. The tourism committee met, the 8th of August, before I left, and nothing really big out of that, but that's all I have.
8th of July? Before?
8th of July.
Okay,
Okay,
I say August.
yeah.
all right.
It's going fast enough now.
Do we have anything else for the good of the day? Meeting is adjourned.
I got